would have been the late 90s, early 2000s Pistons.
Yeah.
Logo where it's got like the horse with
the
like
horse head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, look how edgy this team is. Oh my gosh. It's NBA
terrible.
basketball.
Does everything say recording for y'all?
Yep.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Do I have background noise?
No. Everyone sounds fucking wonderful.
Okay, because I got a fan on because it's effing hot in here. I had a different IU shirt on that was long sleeve, and I had to go upstairs and change it because it was so hot in here.
Well, I appreciate
Because the blast furnace over here, effing gaming PC.
I can't hear you. I can't hear the fan.
Okay.
I love that I have a badass computer that doesn't do anything except for run StreamYard right now, which is hilarious to me.
And it's probably whisper quiet.
Well, the fan kicks on every now and again.
Yeah.
Nick style.
But
is the machine on? It's whisper quiet.
It's lightning fast. When I so much so that I've put my MacBook Pro and I can check this out. I can lean over. Oh my god. Well, it's on the floor now, but here you go, Jeremy.
Oh my god.
This is my MacBook Pro.
Oh, it's put away.
It's put away because the Jeremy Ware, whatever we call it, 420 182X it's speedy, baby. It's fucking
Joy
speedy.
Station.
No. Jeremy Ware. Come on now. I really hope this is recording.
A J-Box.
What?
J-Box 1X.
Yeah. Well,
Series Y.
are we? So I guess the question is, are we ready to go? And then we'll go from there.
It's born ready.
Matt Jones,
we got our vamping done while we were talking about microphones.
Talk a little bit more, Matt Jones, because you got the
a little bit more.
Yeah,
a little bit closer into the. I can move the mic closer.
Well, I was really bummed out that you were really low the last episode.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking about it as I was listening. And of course, I waited till like this afternoon to order this new equipment. And thankfully, Amazon has a location here. So they're like 5 to 10 and 8 o'clock shows it. Bingo, got an email, 8 o'clock, it's there. So it's incredible.
Mind blown that it got there.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
You sound really good right now. Jeremy, do you agree?
Good.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. I've got some notes. So let's go ahead. What?
I said, "Oh boy."
oh boy. You're asking for the freeze frame. I don't know what it was last time. Jeremy thought that
Dustin Hoffman was in something. Like what?
It's Richard Dreyfuss. They're basically the same person.
Okay, so here, before we get into the episode, because I don't want to clip all the time, Close Encounters of the Third Time is $6.99 right now. I don't want to break the $4.99 $5 gimmick for our show. Is $6.99 okay? Should I go ahead and pull the trigger on that one?
It really depends on what's important to you, Troy. Do you really want to sacrifice your morals and standards?
Old movie is old. It's on a fixed income. There's only so much you can spend. You know, that Social Security check ain't going up
until we get the Patreon going.
That's right.
Well, okay. Has anyone seen that movie?
Oh yeah,
Close
I saw it years ago. It's been a long time, but
it's been more than 20 years for me. I don't remember it hardly at all. There's something with mashed potatoes.
Well, that's because I've seen UHF 3,000 times.
That's probably referenced in Simpsons as well. I'm guessing
it's in the Homie the Clown one where he's like he's making the circus big top.
I'll spend the $2 extra if it's worth it. You think, Matt Jones? Don't shake your head. You're shaking.
Don't do it, man.
So
gotta hold on.
I mean, to be fair, we have like at least 100 movies without the.
Yes, we don't need. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to add Close Encounters. You've got plenty of other stuff.
But I love Richard Dreyfuss. He's so good in Jaws. I love
Could
him.
always choose Jaws.
Richard Dreyfuss
what if that was an
is the big thing.
He's so good, Matt Jones. What else is he in? I don't know.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
We just watched that as a family recently.
What's that about?
Hippendorf's Tribe, isn't it? It's like something like that.
Richard Dreyfuss would be so excited that you went to Mr. Holland's Opus and Gryffindor's Tribe.
Didn't we just talk about Stakeout like last week or 2 weeks ago? He was Stakeout, right? So
and then we talked about another Stakeout.
Another Stakeout. Yeah.
You know what I watched before we get into it? When's the last time you watched the movie Snatch?
Oh God, years.
Do you remember that movie?
Probably. I mean, that was like a cool DVD to have in college.
Yes.
Like I feel like everyone had that DVD. It was probably one of the first DVDs to go on the like $4.99 rack. Ironically, that we're talking about it. I also remember the soundtrack was pretty badass.
I watched that today because I resubscribed to Amazon to get some scrubs because I got a new job, which is great, and I'll make the money. But holy shit, that movie is pretty ballsy and awesome. And I don't know. I hated it at first, and it's like 2001, so it's years away from the OMIO show. But the snap cuts and the gimmick camera work. But Brad Pitt, motherfucker, fuck that guy. Like that dude can do no wrong. Can he do something wrong? Can he please do something wrong so I don't like him?
I heard he's not a good dad. If that's helpful.
I'm about to say.
How come?
But in films, I agree.
Because he has 9 kids.
I don't know. There was some incident on the airplane where he yelled at all his kids, and Angelina Jolie was all worried about her. I don't know exactly. Again, this is who knows what's true. I don't really like to get into Hollywood gossip. For me, like I'll still watch a Kevin Spacey movie.
Ooh, okay.
I separate the art from the artist. There's certain things like what is it, The Lost Prophets?
No, The Usual Suspects.
I haven't watched the band, The Lost Prophets. They're like a punk band or something. Just don't read about the lead singer. He's one of those that like has crossed that threshold into I can't separate the art from the artist anymore. So anyway, side note.
No, okay.
But I don't care if Brad Pitt's a nice guy or not.
Still listen to Michael Jackson music, so I think everybody's able at some point. Everybody's able at some point to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, everyone's got their line.
I was going into that movie thinking like, oh my fucking God, I'm gonna hate this shit and I'm gonna unsubscribe immediately. And then I got completely sucked into it. And 2 hours went by and Brad Pitt beat up the guy and killed all the other guys, and I was on board. And Jason Statham, holy smokes! I don't know much about that guy, but that guy is fucking great. He's so
his
good.
Little buddy in it, who's gone on to do a lot of things. I can't remember his name. That English actor. British crime movies are just cool in general. I think
it was lovely.
They have their moments. Yeah.
Amazon Prime. Cheers to you. Matt Jones is looking it up. Salute the StreamYard while I drink my shilling cider. Where's it going? Oh, there's the camera.
Nice. That sounds tasty.
It's very good, 8.4%. So I might be a little bit funky. Yeah. But we get to talk about some awesome stuff tonight. Matt Jones, lead us in. What did you look up?
I was looking up Snatch to see who the other guy was, and that was with Jason Statham.
What's his name?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know who it is. I don't know these character names. I see Jason Statham as Turkish, and then the next name I see is Stephen Graham as Tommy. I don't know if that's the right.
Tommy. Yep.
Okay, I don't know what else. I mean, he's been in Gangs of New York, and he was in This Is England. Oh. He was in a couple of Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He was in, I don't know. He was Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire, which I never watched.
That's where he was so good in that.
Can I just, before we start, I'm about to start. Matt Jones, you sound fantastic right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, when you said I subscribed to Amazon again for Scrubs, I was thinking the TV show.
No, no,
Then
no,
I
no,
was like,
That's what
no.
I thought
oh
too.
wait, you
I was
mean
like, that doesn't seem like a
actual
Troy kind of
Scrubs?
Yes.
show.
No, absolutely. I don't know. I know that's from Seattle, but no, actual work
Is it
Scrubs.
from Seattle?
Yes.
Are you not?
Well,
You're
no,
not
I'm
thinking of
sorry.
Grey's Anatomy.
I'm
You're
thinking
thinking
of
of
Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy.
Yes, I'm
Oh, I
sorry.
didn't know that was Seattle.
Yeah,
Oh
there's
yeah.
a house.
I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
seen an episode of either actually.
Neither have I, but I know it's a thing. And no, actual Cherokee, which is a weird thing to say before we start. They still are called Cherokee Flex work scrubs, but Cherokee is kind of like a native name, so
Is
I
that
don't
the
know how
brand Cherokee?
it is. It is.
Oh yeah, they used to have some hip denim jeans back in the day, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
May whatever it is, they cost about $30 per top per bottom, but they're great. They're flexible and yeah, almost no cotton, so you can wash them and dry the shit out of them. It doesn't matter.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, this is OMIO number 5, right, Matt Jones? We're not going to fight this time.
I'm gonna take your word for it because I clearly don't remember anything.
I love the last time, and I watched it back. I'm like, holy crap! I don't know what episode we're on, but I think this is episode 5, the OMIO
It is 5.
show.
Yes.
Old movie is old for Creepshow,
Mhm.
which I don't know what you're doing, Jeremy. Are you high fiving?
I'm just checking my light. It's looking a little.
Oh.
I'm just looking how good Troy. Your lighting just looks stellar, and then Matt Jones looks like, kind of like it's like 2007 Xbox 360 games where they were all brown and
Mhm.
yellow, like he's in Gears of War
correct.
Part 7.
There's a
And
lot
then
of
I look
headroom
like
for Matt
I've got
Jones.
the sun shining on my face.
It's
Well,
it's camera. I probably need to get a new camera. This camera's not going to cut it with
It's all
this.
good. It's just Troy's got us beat on the production. We're catching up every week, just a little bit every time.
bounce lighting. It's instead of a soft box, we go off the wall. I could turn them down if I needed to, but we don't need to talk about that. I could not be more excited about talking about this movie because it's so non-controversial, except for Matt Jones says it is controversial. So
Uh-oh.
I'm curious to say I'm curious to know what he has to say about that. But it's an anthology spooky movie.
Yes. Mhm.
So let's
Agreed.
Oh,
I
all right.
agree
Well,
with this.
open it up, Matt Jones. Why is it controversial to you?
I just found it boring. Like,
Really?
there were certain shots that were good. There were certain like some of like it's again with any anthology you have like definitely like some that are better than others that you're like, oh yeah, that was really enjoyable. But overall, like there are large sections of this and I'm like, okay, this is dragging. This is boring. Why am I continuing to watch this? I mean, and I know you gotta like develop the story. So like, but I'm like, all right, this is clearly like like some of them like Leslie Nielsen watching the guy drown and stuff like, all right, this didn't have to be a 5-minute thing. Like this, I know you got to kind of do some things, but this didn't need to take this long. And the Stephen King turning into a grass person, like it's like, all right, what was I supposed to learn there? He turned into a grass person, all right. And it's kind of like, I don't know. That was just kind of like, all right. So, and then once you have one person, it's like, oh, that person came back to the dead and got revenge on somebody. And then you have another one where, oh, that person came back from the dead. Those two people came back from the dead and got revenge on somebody. You know, I don't know. And then
Okay.
I don't like the idea of sons taking revenge on their parents because they don't like some of their parenting. Now, he was an abusive parent, but I also don't like getting stabbed in the neck. You know, I'll teach you to take away my comic books. So, anyway,
There's
what was
so
weird to
much to talk
me,
about.
what was weird to me is like I don't, and this may be just the version I watched. I was trying to get the subtitles working and I couldn't, so I may have missed some things, but um, like in the opening scene and there are like some scenes where I'm like, okay, that was clearly like ADR'd or edited, and I was like, oh, is this going to be a PG-13 movie? And then like the last one where the bugs are there and the guy's dropping F-bombs like over and over and over again. I'm like, oh, okay, so this isn't. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they erased an F-bomb at the beginning of the movie with like the dad talking to the
Oh.
son. And I'm like, I don't like, were you supposed to have done that? So I don't know. There's just like a lots of different things about this where I was like, it could have been a PG-13 movie and would have been just as, I think, just as effective. Until the last one, if they just edited out a lot of those F-bombs, I think it would have been perfectly fine as a PG-13 movie, especially like these days. Because like none of the violence was like that overly violent. It was more goofy. So I like some of the shots, and some of the stories were kind of more interesting than others. The one in the crate I found was the strongest one.
Oh, that's my least
What-
favorite one.
Ooh,
well, there you go. But
those are
overall,
off.
it was just kind of you know, with a lot of these anthologies with like kind of twisty endings, it's I find like Twilight Zone episodes where there's a twist ending, but it's like supposed to like teach you something about the human nature to be better
Mhm.
than like, oh, like there's no real twist ending for
There's
I'm
no
trying to think of
moral
any of the
to any of these short. None of them
no,
have any sort of like
it's
greater meaning. Yeah, because I think
no,
of like
and that's
Black Mirror, for instance. Like all of them are like, or like, look at this crazy technology. Now we'll present a horrible downside that you didn't consider.
yeah,
Everyone dies at the end because of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is kind of why I'm interested to hear like like the both of your thoughts is because I am not a more horror movie person. Like there are very few and far between horror movies that I will actually enjoy, and the vast majority of the reason why is because I find most horror movies to be mean-spirited and
Mm.
don't really teach me anything about anything. It's just awful things happening to people who may or may not have deserved it. The more they deserve it, the less I'm like antagonistic towards the horror movie. But for the most part, I find them to just be like silly reasons to be abusive to people, and that's just not something I enjoy.
Rumja, just a quick question. Do you like amusement parks? Like roller coasters and such? Okay. I was gonna say I didn't want to like put words in your mouth, but I was like, I'll bet he's not because I view horror movies like an amusement park ride. Like, and this is, and I also like, so this movie started and I kind of hated it for about half of it. I was like, is this supposed to be bad? I was asking myself, is this supposed to be bad? And then I kind of got into the spirit of it. I felt like the crate went on forever. I don't know, maybe that was just me.
No, you're right. You're right.
But it's some of it's just so silly and fun. And I think about like, okay, so it's based off Creepshow. Is that a real comic or is that a fake comic for the movie?
I think Tales from the Crypt, or there's a couple other ones. There's like 3 or 4 EC comics, which I think I sent in a text message that I ordered the first edition of a collection because I was so curious after watching this.
Yeah.
So,
and I
yeah,
think this would be really fun as a comic book, to be honest.
totally.
So it starts and there's these like weird where it's like gasping face is now framed in a comic book circle and there's like a lot of silliness like that. And then I'm thinking, all right, this movie was probably made, target audience is like somewhere between like 13 and 18 years old, like teenage boys. Some of them snuck into the theater because it's rated R. There's some goofy gore and some laugh. There's no nudity in it. I don't recall there was. But it's just so silly and fun. And some of it is just utterly ridiculous. And so by the time I was having a lot of fun with it personally. And I wrote down a lot of notes of like where's my cake? Bedelia, you bitch. There's just so many like this is, and then and like the one that Rumja had the most seemed to have the most issue with, the Stephen King. That one is so ridiculous and hilarious, and the acting is so bad. Like there's a reason we have not seen Stephen King in a lot of movies. It's so bad that it's good. That I can see why this is like a cult classic, right? This is a cult classic, I assume.
I think so now, for me anyway.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Leslie Nielsen. I'm
Ooh.
like, he's not funny really in it, but he's still funny because it's Leslie Nielsen. And then we got young Ed Harris, we got Hal Holbrook, we've got the Uncle Art from Christmas Vacation is the actor in the final one.
Mr. Cheers.
I'm freezing my baguettes off. He's got a car. I need to eat so I can take my back pill. Ted Danson.
Ted Danson. Which I can't remember what the joke is from. Oh no, it's from Seinfeld, where George is thinking that he wants to make a bunch of money for his pilot, and he thinks Ted Danson makes X amount of dollars for Cheers, and you're not Ted Danson.
What is the deal? Sorry for the side tangent, but Ted Danson is a prominent character on Curb Your Enthusiasm also, and he's kind of an antagonist for Larry David. He's always getting annoyed with Ted Danson. They have to be friends in real life, even back to the 100%. Seinfeld episode era, I assume.
I'm guessing.
Oh, Ted Danson's so funny on that show. But yeah, anyway, I really liked it. Probably my favorite. I mean, the last one I thought was pretty good. Again, to Matt Jones's point, nothing to take from it other than bad guy gets bad thing happen to him. I liked the something to tide you over one. I liked the meteor. The two that I like the least are the first and the sorry.
No. Let's break it down because we're getting into it, and it's absolutely wonderful. So I've got my why I'm so excited about this is it's the least controversial episode of the OMIO show ever. It's just goofy fun, and so much so that I've written it down on paper, which is nice. Okay, so we've kind of talked about the opening scene. It's the what do they call it? Like the interstitial, or right?
Well, in this situation, it's the prelude and the epilogue kind of thing. Prologue and epilogue.
Is prologue and epilogue the same thing? Just quick aside.
No. Prologue is in the beginning. Epilogue is at the end.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was thinking of prefix. Never mind.
With Stephen King's young. Well, I don't know how many kids he has, but his kid, right?
It's his son. Yeah.
Right.
And Tom Aikens, the star of Halloween 3
and The Fog, which is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. I love that movie. Although I hear it's not...
isn't Adrienne Barbeau in The Fog?
She's one of the other mains. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
She's also in
her voice.
Escape from New York.
She's the voice of Catwoman in the Batman the Animated Series movies. She has a great voice, and they make her have the most obnoxious voice in this episode.
She's Catwoman in Batman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had no fucking idea.
Oh yeah, she has a great voice.
Okay, well, mind blown.
Not in this movie. She doesn't.
But... No. We'll get to that for sure. So, opening scene, it's great. It's the interstitial. It's this is why God made fathers, and he's, I guess, so little Stephen King is reading the Creepshow comic books. He throws it away in the trash, and it kind of sets off our movie. Is that right? I think that's right. Right? Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. I've got written down, I dig the comic motif. I think that's super cool. So much so that I sent you a message that I ordered the first book of this regeneration of whatever this is. I don't think it's called Creepshow. I think it's called Tales from the Crypt, which hurts my brain because that's a whole different series with the Crypt Keeper, right?
Yeah,
surprised they wouldn't use that name.
Yeah, but there it is, and I will not get the ceiling cam as you mentioned, Jeremy. But I was like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? I don't know what you're talking about, but I get it now completely.
have to wonder if they didn't get the rights to, like, they were like, hey, I got a bunch of Tales from the Crypt type things, and they're like, well, we can't get the rights for Tales from the Crypt, so it's like, well, let's just make up our own thing. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it works great. It works great. And there's at least 2 or 3 different Creepshow variants after this, so we may or may not talk about that. First story, so it's 5 stories, and I think Jeremy might have mentioned, and I would agree with you, it kind of goes on a little bit long with the crate, although I like a lot about the crate. First story is Father's Day. And I could not wait to ask you both, because you're both fathers. Do you guys get cakes on Father's Day?
No one
No.
does cakes on Father's Day. No one would be upset that they didn't get a cake on Father's Day either.
But this
Except this guy.
Yeah, he's so mad that he doesn't get a Father's Day cake.
Yep.
See, this is the other thing, is like typically in like a horror movie or a movie where like these type of things happen, like you want the person who comes back and gets the revenge to be likable or affable, and then the people that do the bad things to be complete scumbags. And you don't get that in this situation. Not at all.
Except for Ed Harris is like an innocent, but
Exactly. Well, that's the other thing, is Ed Harris actually gets killed.
Yeah, he just
He's
wants to smoke his
happening
cigarettes.
he's just dating this girl, and then he gets killed from the situation, which is like, it's sitting there, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna fall on him. It's gonna fall on him. It's gonna fall on him. Like, why is this taking forever to fall on him?
I'm with you, Matt
Like,
Jones.
I thought that was
started
intentionally supposed to be funny how long it, like, unless it was unintentional, but
it was taking so long that I was like, oh, maybe he's actually going to get out of this situation, because
I thought so
he
too.
did nothing wrong and he shouldn't be killed, because he isn't the one that took the cake away from him. Nope. It just took forever. So I'm like, all right. So, okay.
So an interesting first story for our anthology, and it kind of drew me in. It really did. Initially, the relationships were kind of confusing, but whatever. They were such, to your point earlier, Matt Jones, 5 minutes earlier. They were elitist, like scumbags that were like sipping their champagne and, oh, we're gonna wait for our baked ham. So it's like, all right, these guys are all gonna die. But Ed Harris, you want him to kind of last through. He dies immediately. And then within 5 minutes, they all get the kaputs. So
Maid gets killed. Why does
They're
the
all-
maid get
they're-
killed?
they are yuppies though. Wasn't in the 80s it was a very anti-yuppie time? Like so viewers are probably like, ha, yuppies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Perfect word. I
Well,
love it.
Couple notes I had. Did
Go.
you guys remember the part where Ed Harris lights the match off the wall like this?
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I started laughing out loud when that happened.
Multiple times he has the strike into our match. Yes.
I don't remember what this note means. I just wrote down Ed Harris ain't turning the music down. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, because they were dancing, and like they had that like weird like 30-second scene of them dancing, and then like the old lady's like, would you turn that music down? And then there's another like 15 seconds of dancing, and then he dances his way over to the knob and kind of turns it down a little bit. See, this would have worked much more effectively for me if it was the brother that went out and like was looking for grandma with like a bottle of liquor. He's like looking for grandma, or he sees the car, and he's going to like an ice chest to find more something to drink, and then he like drunkenly stumbles out there, and then that all happens. That would have been much more effective for me. And then Ed Harris and his girlfriend are like the last ones where you don't know exactly what happens to them. But
question for you guys. So like, I definitely watched a lot of Tales from the Crypt back in the day when it was on HBO. Like it was one of those like my parents didn't know I was watching it kind of situations. Because it was like hard PG-13, soft R, I would say. Sure. Watched every episode of Black Mirror. I like the anthology. I've seen some of the VHS movies. I feel like in anthology shorts, they're more willing to kill off everybody and have a super dark ending than like a regular movie. And I'm wondering if it's because they know you don't have time to form as much attachment to the characters, and so you can kind of just go ham and do whatever you want. It's like they're play toys, and we can just kill them all if we want. It doesn't matter. No one will be sad because we're getting ready to start the next one. That's just a theory, but
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, this for all the tomfoolery about it's an aunt of the great aunt, and so did this and did that, and they got the money, et cetera, and then within 2 minutes, everyone dies, right?
Pretty much. It takes a lot longer than 2 minutes, unfortunately, but yes, that's essentially what happens.
I mean, he's screaming for his cake, which is why I could not wait, and I did not text you about the Father's Day cake. Like, is this? I've never known a Father's Day cake, and he seems super into his Father's Day cake, which is
couldn't it just be Father's birthday or something like the episode? Wouldn't that make more sense with the cake? I'd love to know like the backstory. Also, quick aside, I wrote this down. Why is it Father's Day? Why is the apostrophe after? It's all Father's Day, right? Shouldn't it be plural fathers?
Fathers.
It occurred to me while watching it. I'm like, should move the apostrophe
so is it
over. It's all
father?
Father.
Is it father? FATHER apostrophe S?
Yeah, but I mean, I believe that's how the holiday's spelled too. But I'm just like,
okay.
I don't. It's too late to change it, probably.
Well, before I get into the last of my notes, I mean, how do y'all celebrate Father's Day? As two of the greatest dads I've ever known.
I try not to. I try to downplay it as much as possible, and just find a reason to hang out with the family. That's about it.
Jeremy,
usually there's a small token gift.
Yeah,
Eva likes to give gifts, so she makes it a little bit more than just a token. But I try and tell her like, don't make this a big gift. So
I consider Father's Day like the B tier holiday after Mother's Day. Like Mother's Day is the big one, and Father's Day should be like further down the rung. Not that fathers aren't important, but I sounds like very similar to our house. We'll go out to lunch or something. What makes me happier than anything, rather than like a big gift, I love getting something handmade from Harper. You know, something from the kids that you can keep. And I've got actually right here. Ironically, didn't plan this. Do you guys remember Starcom?
No.
It was a kid's toy.
No.
So this is they were famous for having like the magnets.
Okay.
Anyway, right on the other side.
That
sits on top of my computer. Little things like that.
Well, I mean, both of you don't need little things to express how amazing you guys are as fathers. It was just it's a funny thing to me to think about this Father's Day cake, where it's like, do fathers really dig on that or not? And we've confirmed that not really, because you're all badasses.
The best thing I would get for Father's Day before COVID was like a frame with the kit picture of Eva and the boys. That was like a Father's Day thing, because then you could put it at the office and you could be like, oh, good, I have this at the office. I see my family. I'm working. It's nice to have, pictures of your family around your office cube. Now I work from home, and it's like, okay, well, it's always nice to see, but then they're always here. Like when they're during summer, they're here, and
they're
when
just
at
always
the end of
here.
the day.
And you're bitching about them playing
always
on your
here.
Xbox.
That's right. Yeah, they take over the basement. Anyways,
Well, anyways,
Never got a cake though. Never. Now I'm going to demand a cake, and I'm going to be really mad if I don't.
You should.
I would say 3 positive things about this segment.
Okay.
Number 1, when the hand came up, that did scare the crap out of me.
Yes.
I got jump scared, and I was like, oh, God, I should have known that was coming. Number 2, the makeup on like the maggots coming out of like the guy, like very good. And then number 3, I do like that final scene with I like the when the backgrounds kind of disappear and it's all the the girl and the boy, and they have it looks more like a comic book reaction
Mhm.
scene as opposed to just like a, oh, I'm scared action scene. Like I did like that. I still think the whole thing was dumb, but I do like those are the things I did enjoy about it.
This totally sucks, but it was pretty good. I totally,
Like I don't want to just be like, oh, there was nothing of value here.
yeah,
It was
no,
not effective in the least. No, those were the things I liked.
I I would absolutely agree. Definitely jump scared me because I'm wearing headphones or what have you with the sound effects and the jump scares. It got me. It got me, and I can't believe that it was so I don't know, succinct. I mean, like these, it's like a 2 hour long movie, but every little gimmick is pretty fast and furious. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
agreed.
I was digging it. I think that's all I've got. He got his cake, and that's about it.
The only other thing I had is I
Yep.
thought it was funny that Bedelia was smoking Black and Milds.
They were smoking so much and drinking so much. It made me want a cigarette really badly. I haven't smoked a cigarette for a long time, but I absolutely wanted to smoke after this segment. Okay, so really quick, we can bleed into Lonesome Death of Stephen. Oh, I wrote Stephen King. It's not his real name. What's his name in the gimmick movie? I don't remember.
Jordy something or other.
Jordy
don't know.
Calabash. I mean,
why would you name your character? That's
it was his. If I'm not mistaken, this was like his kind of movie, right? Like he wrote
it. Mm-hmm.
and George Romero kind of scripted it and directed it.
Mhm.
I don't know a lot about Stephen King. Is he naturally cross-eyed and gamey?
he's not an attractive man to begin with. Well, we could safely say that.
He's got beautiful hair, if that's real hair,
I
but
think it is.
everything I've seen from him, like he's cross-eyed and look funky. Yes, and cocaine, but just like his natural state is fucking weird.
I mean,
Jordy Verrill. I looked
Jordy,
it up.
thank you.
I mean, I'm looking at pictures of him right now online. Like, I don't think he's cross-eyed. I think he was playing a total goober.
He was.
That's hard to believe. I believe you, but it's hard to believe
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
like he was doing like interviews for one of his what's the movie with him with the trucks where he's like killer trucks
Maximum Overdrive.
and he's totally cross-eyed and like weirdo. I mean, I would believe you. Maybe I need to do more research.
I mean, the performance is so bad that it's hard for me to believe that he has the acting capability to do additional things like that on purpose.
So
maybe you're right.
So you're saying he's naturally cross?
I don't know.
I love this bit. I hated it at first, but I love it the second.
Same. I was like, oh my god, like I cannot believe I'm watching this right now. And then by the end, I'm like, this is so ridiculous. It's fantastic.
Matt Jones throws shade on it.
I found the parts where like he's imagining the Department of Meteors giving him like $200. Like I thought this was funny, but it just like dragged and led to nowhere. Like that was funny. Like again, it in small bits this is okay, but it just kept dragging. This is like a segment of a TV show, right? Like not an entire TV show. One of the 3 segments on classic television when they had commercial breaks, you put it in one segment, it starts and it ends in like 7 to 10 minutes, and it felt like this kept going on and on and on.
The ending is kind of cool though, I thought.
We'll
get there.
It's going to keep going. It's going to keep moving.
It's like this little thing that he thought he could sell for $200 ended up potentially ruining the planet or whatever.
Yeah.
My notes here. I don't have many, so bear with me here. I just want to read all my notes.
I love it.
Stephen King might be the worst actor I've ever seen. Line 2, LOL, watching pro wrestling like a true jabron. Alternate title, Cheeto Dust, the movie, it gets everywhere. I was like imagining like Stephen King like was eating Cheetos one night. It's like couldn't get it off his fingers. He's like, wait a second, I got an idea. Pop off vodka to the rescue, and then he says, "There you go, you sucker." There's very little dialogue from it. It's just so funny. It's so ridiculous.
You are absolutely right on, because all I have in my notes is Department of Meteors X2, which is the dream sequences of I'm going to get $200 for my meteor until he breaks it.
What's it called again? The Department of Meteors?
Something ridiculous like
That's
that.
so
Which
funny.
is exactly. And then Wrestling from Madison Square Garden, which is I think the Wild Samoan and I can't remember the other wrestler.
I knew you would know.
Yeah, which is totally legit. Like that would have been happening at that time. And then he goes to the doctor's office because he's been infected with the green from the meteor shit. And then
no, he doesn't go to the doctor's office. He imagines going to the doctor's office, and they're going to do something that's going to make him feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And so he's like, "Oh, I'm not doing that."
Exactly. So he drinks vodka and orange juice, which is hilarious too. I'm with you both. I wanted to hate this so much, but the cinematography, the expanding what is it, like green?
Yeah.
The wild
practical effects.
Yeah,
fungus, whatever you want to call it, the fungus.
Sure.
It looked like the Grinch by the end.
It's it's minimal, but it's effective. And the fact that he is so goddamn over the top goofy, and it's I have this written down as my 5 takeaways. Like, it's visceral that he's licking his fingers, and then he looks at his fingers, and it's like, ooh, it grosses me the fuck out because I can relate. That could have happened to me, and I'm grossed out by it until he shoots himself in the head with a shotgun,
which was hilarious also.
Yeah,
it was I thought there was going to be like gore, and it just like it looked like someone knocked over a roll of AstroTurf.
It worked for me in the end. I wanted to dismiss it, but it worked for me. Yes, please.
Can I make one suggestion of how it would have been better? Because I was making the suggestion in the first segment about switching the brother and Ed Harris. It would have been funnier if he shot himself and blew his head off, and then his body still moves around. And he's like, "Oh dang," because like it doesn't die. It just like becomes part of the fungus, and blowing your head off still doesn't stop you from being part of the fungus. Like that would have made me. I would have probably laughed. I would have laughed so hard at that part. And that to me would have been a better ending than like, oh, it's going to now spread across the globe. Like, okay, like that's ominous, I guess. That would have been funnier to me. I don't know.
It's like it leans into like really dark territory on all of these, but it never fully commits to going full dark. It's always still a little silly. I imagine, like, I don't know a lot about filmmaking, but I imagine that one of the roles of the director is to get the best performance out of their actors. So I'm trying to imagine George A. Romero giving Stephen King some notes, like maybe, hey, maybe we can get a better take. Or did he just go first take, everything was a winner? Or he was like, ooh, you know what? He wrote the movie. I'm going to let him just do it the way he wants and hope for the best from here on the other 5 or other 4 shorts.
I think they said to themselves, this is clearly the goofiest one. Like with Department of Meteors should have been like a big red flag. This is like a Looney Tunes type
I didn't even notice that. I'm disappointed I missed it.
So it's like completely Looney Tunes. Yeah. We'll give you $50. How about 200? Yeah. So it's definitely like extremely goofy. And if Stephen King is willing to put himself through the rigors of getting all that makeup on there, you don't have to tell anybody else. Like, Stephen King wrote it. He knows how stupid goofy it's supposed to be, and he's willing to go out there and get in that makeup. We'll just let him do it. Like, who cares? Like, let's just go for it. So that's my guess.
Stephen King would have been famous at this time, but not like anywhere near what he is today, right? Like, This was 82 or 84?
Man, it was 82.
82. So
let's see.
Great question.
I'm just curious if he would have been a recognizable person, because I didn't know he was in this. And I'm like, is that fucking Stephen King?
Absolutely, it is. As a lead, as a main, and he's the only one in that section, so far as I understand.
Yeah, great solo performance. Could have been a stage play.
They already had Carrie the book and Carrie the movie at this time.
Okay.
They already had. I don't know if Salem's Lot. He wrote Salem's Lot. He wrote The Shining. The Shining movie would have already been out. So he would have been he wrote The Stand. The Stand would have been out, and everybody would have read The Stand. So that was like a huge,
so he would have been
thing.
Huge. Yeah, he would have been.
He would have been pretty well known.
I mean, it's like when you think about horror authors, I don't even know who I would call number 2. Bram Stoker.
I mean, 100 years ago.
Mary Shelley.
Clive Barker, Jeremy. Clive Barker.
Oh, yeah. Well,
wait, Bram Stoker didn't write that, did he?
He wrote Dracula.
I know. I'm just kidding.
That is a good question. Who is the number 2?
I think
Anne Rice.
Clive Barker.
Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Hellraiser, The Hellbound Heart, which is, I think you guys watched that for one of the
Carpenter.
Reflex.
Yeah, one of the Broflex, and I don't know if you guys didn't like it or hate it. I can't remember, but
that's didn't like which movie?
Hellraiser.
Oh, I loved it.
It's fucked up, dude. Like hammer killing and like brain dripping.
Oh, and the spinny hook thingy, and
yeah, fuck that.
So we didn't discuss this at up front, but I think Matt Jones is the least horror fan here. Troy likes some of the more fun horror that's less unpleasant. I'm all in on all of it. I love
unpleasant, and yet he likes Friday the 13th movie.
No, but like
because it's so goofy, man.
Troy's not going to be like, "Hey guys, let's watch Saw Part 6 next time."
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and there is no threshold that I will not go through with horror movies. In fact, I kind of enjoy. The further the envelope is pushed, I almost find it interesting. And I think it goes back to quick aside, but like when I was a kid, and you'd go to Marsh on a Friday night, my dad would take us to Marsh. Hey, let's rent a couple movies. I was not allowed to see our movies till probably 17 or something. Like I was not allowed to see our movies. So I would look at the back of these horror movie boxes. Like I remember House, which has the finger with the key.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
On the box art, and
not the Japanese House though, which is completely different, by the way.
That's different.
And then like Friday the 13th Part 3, I think has even though that's the weird Friday the 13th
3D.
But that one had like a crazy like witch thing in the sky box art.
No, you're thinking of Halloween
3.
Oh,
Halloween
what did I say?
Is the one
with the witch. You said Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that's 3D.
Yeah,
so I'm like, oh, this is R, and like, why is it R? It's got to be crazy. So like, I think I've had this like lifelong fascination with like the pushing of the envelope in movies. I don't want to see it for real. Like, I don't want to watch, live leaks videos and stuff. But in movies, like, I've seen all the Terrifier movies, and Terrifier 3 is about to come out, and they are like horrific. But like, I know it's fake, so I don't mind it. So back to the amusement park analogy.
No, I can dig it.
So anyway, back on Stephen King's The Meteor.
Meteor shit. I think that's it for him, because we know that he self-terminates at the end, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other comments about that particular segment? I don't either. I mean, it's pretty incredible that the author, and I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what Stephen King is worth as far as all the books he's written and all the royalties that he's gotten. But as goofy as his shit is, I dug it at the end. And the cinematography, the overgrowth, building until you see, and it's not Portland, Oregon, it's Portland, Maine, I think, at the end. Like, that's I dug it. I dug it. I thought it was cool at the end.
One other thing that, and you see it in a couple of the other shorts, but I just thought this was cool. Like we'll never see this again in our lifetimes, but where like now they would CG, whatever backdrops,
Yep.
and there's some like hand painted backdrops. Like I think in the final scene where you see like the Earth is starting to get like it's clearly like some artist made that, and I think that is so cool. Even though it looks fake and it doesn't quite look right, I just appreciate that like somewhere out there on this planet, there's like someone who made that for that shot, and I think that's so cool because it's it's a bygone era. Like we'll never. It's just cheaper and easier to do it digitally, and it looks more realistic now. So. And it looks like Stephen King's net worth is around 500 million, by the way.
Jesus, holy goddamn smokes! Good for him. Good for him. I actually went on eBay and started looking up some of his short story hardcover anthologies to pick up after this. As I told you already, I already ordered the whatever it was, not Creepshow, Tales from the Crypt. Yeah. Vision 1 or whatever it was, because I was like, this is fucking cool, man. I'm super into this. So
totes.
Yeah, and Jeremy, I could not agree with you more. The realistic, the greenery, if you will, you can tell it's fishing wire on, I don't know, fake plants, whatever it was, cut after cut after cut. I fucking love it. I'm totally invested in it, and I love it. I think it's so great, and I'm sad to say, because like you're pointing out, it's all computers now, and they're not going to do that stuff. Even though it's relatively cheap comparatively, it's a bygone era, and that's us being old and what have you. But
this movie was made for $8 million. Like nothing gets made for $8 million now. The sequel to this, I'm reading, was 32 million,
which no one knows about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, that like, Stephen King's famous, as we established, and George A. Romero's famous, but like a lot of these people aren't. And there's probably a lot of people just coming together trying to like make cool shit look cool. So I appreciate that.
Back to the George A. Romero, like Dawn of the Dead, the original, is one of, if not my favorite movie of all time. So not like any of these bits at all. If you've either of you have seen that movie,
it's really dark, right?
Kind of. It's also very fun and whimsical. It's just, I don't know.
The first section of it before they get to the mall is kind of very dark.
Okay.
Because it goes into like how the chaos if Dead came alive, like the racism of the people that are out there shooting in cities. They're just excited to shoot like black people, and it's just like, it feeds in. It's definitely a darker, like Day of the Dead is, I think, even a darker film than Dawn of the Dead.
Horrible.
Dawn of the Dead does have some levity to it, and it's becomes more of like how are they going to make it out of this mall situation.
I remember in college, Troy, watching it. Like you had like this and Reanimator, and I mean, I know that they're not necessarily like one-to-one comparison, but you had a lot of like these crazy horror movies that I had never heard of.
And I wish
Reanimator.
Go ahead.
I said Reanimator. I have seen that, and I remember enjoying that movie because it is not so down in the dumps. It is like the bad things happen to the bad people, and it is definitely goofy. There are lots of goofy things that go on in that movie. So that, if you call that a horror movie, that's probably the one horror movie I can think off the top of my head that I enjoy watching or have enjoyed watching.
That's what's fun about horror, though. I think there's like all these like, I wouldn't say hundreds, but there's tons of subgenres of horror. Like right now, like recently, the PG-13 haunted house genre is like huge. Sinister, and the haunting of so-and-so's daughter, and the there's like the haunting of whatever house, and there's the haunting of so-and-so, and then the autopsy of so-and-so, and then the exorcism of so-and-so.
That's a good one.
So there's not a lot other than like Dale and Tucker versus Evil. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one.
I'm not. I used to see it on
hilarious.
Netflix all the time, and I
Oh,
need to
it's
watch. I want to watch that
the
now.
premise is so genius. I'll spare everybody the time, but anyway, I do enjoy the horror genre. How there's like how you guys are talking about, like Reanimator's funny and it's not as mean spirited, and then there's well, anyway, you said it already.
I wish I still had those DVDs because, so far as I understand, they're fetching a quite a nice price on the eBay, and I probably donate them to Goodwill before I moved out.
Wasn't
to the
that
West Coast.
Reanimator box copy that you had like a double disc and like a cardboard sleeve, like really nice, like cool looking?
Don't rub it in.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I think I borrowed it from you or something.
I'm
at
just
some point.
I'm just fucking with you. Like, yeah, I mean, all of the copies that I had of those movies, yes, they're fetching nice prices, and they're rightfully so, because for some fucking reason they're not commercially available. I don't
Yeah.
I don't personally know why, but I feel that hipster credibility of like, I had the knowledge on the what became hipster cred. So I dig it. Holy smokes. Let's move on to
We're at
goodness.
1 hour and we've made it through two of 5.
2 segments.
I
2
have
of
to
5.
pee, and I'm about to go get another beer, which is a apple cider drink. Something to tide you over. Holy cow. Visceral reaction, which is one of my 5 takeaways if you follow the show. This segment got me pretty good. Ted Danson and From Dawn of the Dead, I can't remember her name, but she's the lead of From Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I maybe we can watch it next time. It's on YouTube because, as we've talked about 2 minutes ago, you can't buy Dawn of the Dead. You can't buy it on Amazon. You can't buy it on Apple. You can't buy it on DVD. You can't buy it anywhere. But it's available on YouTube in both its theatrical release, and I think it's extended director's release, and also a commentary release with George A. Romero and Tom Savini, and I think his wife too. She's, oh goodness gracious, I can't remember her name. But anyway, she's in this with Ted Danson. She's the other victim. This one got me. I couldn't rewatch it because it makes me short of breath. So something to tide you over. Let's talk about it. And Frank Drebin from,
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. What was the other one? Police Squad, Naked Gun 2.5, Naked Gun
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
33 and 30, Dracula Dead and Loving It,
Airplane.
which I own, Airplane, and I have.
Embarrassed I said Dracula Dead and Loving It before Airplane came up.
But here's the thing, J Money. That is a fucking absolutely brilliant film, and follows, if you haven't read the book of Dracula by Bram Stoker, it's way closer than any of the other adaptations. So say what you will about his portrayal, it's a wonderful film. But
it's a good performance. I thought Leslie Nielsen was great in this. Like I kept wanting to laugh. There's nothing really funny in it. It's a pretty straight performance.
The only thing funny is his obsession with the cable. That's the only thing I couldn't stop like kind of giggling, like, what are they talking about?
How about this isn't Leslie Nielsen, but Ted Danson at one point says that may work on TV, but I can bench press 300 pounds.
When he has his foot in the door. Yes.
Once again, even this is probably the most straight played of the skits, the shorts.
Yep.
I'm with you. Even that line somehow still made it in there.
It's freaky. This whole portion freaked me out. Like I said, I've got written in my notes visceral. Like, I love the ocean, I love the beach, but the tide coming in, being buried up to your neck, and the fact that, okay, can't you lift your arms? Can't you break free? No, he tells you that you can't because of the weight, et cetera, et cetera. I was constantly holding my breath the 2 times I watched this going into it.
And knowing Ted Danson the way I do from Curb Your Enthusiasm, I was somehow rooting for him.
And
I was like, he's going to get out of this. I did have a note that the hole on the beach that was dug for him would not have cut the mustard, though. If you look, it was probably like knee deep at best. I wrote, the hole on the beach is hilarious. I've dug bigger holes making sandcastles. That would show a dead body in one day.
He does say he wanted him to kneel down and then put the hole in over him.
I don't know. I feel like if you were kneeling down, you could just stand up. You'd have to have like a really deep hole.
They talk about that.
I don't know.
The weight of the sand and
they talk about it, Jeremy.
Yeah. We'll have to do Mythbusters on this.
No, they talk about it.
I've been buried in sand before. It was heavy. I mean, and keep in mind, this guy can bench 300 pounds. Are we just going to run past that?
Yes. No, no. They built it up properly, and I was with you 200,000%
until he gave the sand a little pat with his shovel. You're like, that does
it. Until he says you don't have the strength to get out of this. Blah 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 blah, and he's buried. He's fucking buried.
All right. I mean, again, there's a lot more things that we could suspend disbelief over, so I'm okay to let this one go. But I'm just, I was like,
let it.
Side note: that Jeep they had,
motherfucker.
Oh, buddy, I was like, damn, that Jeep is sweet,
motherfucker.
Sorry, I snaked you.
No, you didn't. I'm so glad you jumped in. Sorry, Matt Jones. Okay. As a previous Jeep owner, motherfuck, that Jeep is hot.
Oh yeah, the stripe
as shit. And not only that,
I didn't know you owned a Jeep.
Jeremy did. He owned the Jurassic Park Jeep.
I thought you had owned the Jeep.
I owned a Honda CRV, motherfucker. I got all-wheel drive
basically
when I want to. No, it's not. Because, and you know this, before he goes to the sand, you can tell he pauses and he switches.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Oh, he does.
Into the low drive or whatever.
For all four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, whatever. I don't know.
Never turned that on my Jeep once.
Well, because you're a poser. I'm sorry to say it. You're a poser, Carmel, Indiana. Living on the north side.
Pavement queen, is that what they call it?
Maybe. But Leslie, before he drives onto the beach, he parks with Ted Danson, shifts over, and then goes onto the sand. So I have written down in my goddamn notes, it's a Jeep thing, and Mother Scratcher is that a beautiful Jeep. Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. I want it. Who's got anything else to say? The crab freaked me out.
Yeah. And I love how the crab is just suddenly right there. Like, I just was imagining someone off camera was like, all right, now put the crab next to his head. The one that we got on loan from the zoo or whatever.
And then he kicks it.
Yeah.
He kicks it straight up. Okay, so I wish I know the actress's name. Matt Jones, can you look her up? Galen.
Sure can.
Thank you.
Galen Ross.
She's only in a couple movies. She was in Dawn of the Dead, which I hope maybe we can watch for the next OMIO. Although I would just gush about it for hours. She's buried in the sand. Ted Danson is buried in the sand. And with the tide coming in, again, this is a hard segment for me to watch because I can kind of relate. They talk about holding your breath, et cetera, et cetera.
I could hold my breath a long time.
Well, that's what he says at the end. But it's kind of messed up. It's
a horrible way to do somebody.
Absolutely. And it's Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
And he's goofy funny, but he's evil sadistic in this.
Yeah, if you were to drown in real life, Like it's over relatively quickly. Like it obviously would be unpleasant, but like this is not drowning. This is prolonged over what I would assume would be hours as the tide comes in. I mean, it does it fairly quickly in the movie, but yeah, it's somebody that does that to somebody deserves to get gotten by water people, water zombies.
Deserves to get gotten. I'm with you. I don't know. It compared to the other two segments before this one, it got me good. It got me taking deep breaths and, like I said, viscerally reacting to the cinematography. Matt
It's
Jones.
the best acted. It's the best acted out of them. It's not like ridiculous acting. Like clearly the segment before was ridiculous acting. Even the one before that is a little bit of like when the dad is like, I want my cake. It's like, okay, this is like ridiculous. But this one is definitely like straight, acted very straight, and it is definitely like a little bit more grounded until the swamp people or sea people come back up and get their revenge. But yeah, no, like up to that point, it is definitely like, ooh, this is dark. This is going serious, and then they his come up it happens. I like the one where it's like, I've locked them out. I turn around. Oh, they're right there. Like, wait a second. How does this make sense? Doesn't matter. They came back from the dead to get him, so it doesn't matter. But
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry.
Oh, I just had just a random note, kind of on par with Rumja had a observation about. I don't know. We were texting before this about something that you caught. I can't remember what the detail was.
oh, the ashtray.
The
The
ashtray.
ashtray that the lady used to kill the father is the one that's in Leslie Nielsen's room.
Yeah. Also, the phone with all the weird buttons across the top. That's in the last short. The same phone.
Oh.
Now we could say, it means this and like communication. No, it's just probably sharing props. But still, I thought that was interesting because it's a wild looking phone. Have you ever seen a phone that looked like that?
Not for a long time.
Oh, one of the old ones that you like talk into.
It's got yeah, one of the ones that's got a handset with a cord. No, I mean like, you got the normal dial pad, and then there's like what 1, 2, 3, 10 horizontal buttons. I assume that'd be like used in an office in old timey days to dial in on a line. I just thought it was cool. You only get those phones if you're a rich guy like Leslie Nielsen or a rich guy like Uncle Art. Later to be discussed.
Oh, the last one. Okay, I thought you were like.
Not the previous. I mean the final.
Verrill used the one. Okay, I get it now. I understand now. Yes.
Before I go take a bathroom break, which I have to take because we got 2 more segments to go. Absolutely, I have a cool Jeep thing written down. Cool room. All the it's not cinematography, but all the prop department, whatever it is, with which would have been cutting edge at the time, video cameras, security cameras, whatever you want to call it. Super cool, and it's kind of build you into this with, again, Leslie Nielsen, who I've only known as a comedic actor, although I know he's not been that. He's pretty fucking evil in this. And I totally bought it. And there wasn't for the length of the other shorts, or the lack of length for other shorts, this bought just right into it. Knock on the door. You know who I am. I know that you're fucking my wife, or whatever what his relationship is, and I'm going to get you. Let's go. And creep me out. It's super good. I was totally on board for this. And again, found it hard to kind of watch a second time with, I don't want to be buried to my neck with the tide coming in. I don't. It's pretty sadistic. And the fact that you got that out of Leslie Nielsen, for me, as a 42-year-old or whatever I am, like that's pretty crazy. And the Jeep, Sorry, the Jeep
I
is
think
fucking
Leslie
awesome.
Nielsen before Airplane was known for being a serious actor. Like he was not known for comedic roles, which is why he worked so well in Airplane because
Yeah.
he plays it so straight, and he's known for that. And then he's saying all these things that are just hilarious in context, but he's saying them with such utter sincerity that it becomes funny. And same thing with like Police Squad a little bit is that he's not usually overly goofy. He's playing it straight, and it's just the circumstance and the situation that makes it
Good
funny.
call.
So yeah,
That would be a
I can believe
good
him in this.
future OMIO. One of those. I haven't seen Airplane in I don't know how long. I don't know if I've even ever seen it all the way through in one sitting.
Have you gotten to the boobs part?
I mean, I do remember boobs. The scene that I always remember is that when they like go through the like, you need to get yourself together, and they slap her, and then like 15 more people come in and slap this lady.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I remember my cousin. My cousin is about 10 years older than me on my mom's side. When I was little, I had to have been like elementary school. My cousin would ask me, he'd be like, "You ever seen a grown man naked?" And I was like, what is the correct answer here? I didn't know. I didn't understand the reference. And it didn't matter how I responded. They all laughed. I'm like, do I say yes or no? Which one is the right one? Only to, only to find out years later that it was from this movie or Airplane, not Creepshow.
Quick break. I will be right
Yeah.
back. So take a break if you need to.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes. Let's go.
LFG.
Yeah. Eating an apple, core and all. I know you, Matt Jones. I know how you do. You're gonna eat that whole core, aren't you? You're gonna eat the whole goddamn apple. I know you. You don't care.
No.
Seeds and all.
I don't eat the seeds.
Bullshit,
that.
you don't. I know you do.
I will skin the seeds, but I don't eat the core and I don't eat the middle of the seeds. They're not good.
I've seen you eat the core.
Mm-mm.
I have.
I eat down to the core, but I don't eat it. Third and 34.
Is that what the Patriots? Are the Patriots playing?
Mm-mm.
Who's playing?
Broncos and Saints.
How are the Broncos doing?
26-3. They're up.
46-3?
26.
26-3. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess that's good.
No, it's not good.
Well,
They're 3-3. I mean, as much as I want them to win for my brother-in-law, I want them to lose so that the Colts have a better chance of getting the playoff spot.
What are you talking about? Or what are you talking about?
Football game.
Colts?
Oh, no, the Broncos are up 26-3. The Broncos are 3-3. So they're playing the Saints. I want the Saints to win. And AFC versus NFC, I want the AFC team to lose, other than the Colts, because I want the Colts to have a better opportunity to make the playoffs.
I think the Colts should play Anthony Richardson and not care about the outcome for the rest of the year. Are you a we should be playing Flacco because he's the better quarterback right now person?
No.
I've heard a lot of that, and I'm like, the guy Anthony Richardson, he needs to get the reps. Like that's the only way he learns. He's still the youngest quarterback in the league, even after it being his second year. Like, give him the reps. He's gonna fuck up. If he's glass and he gets hurt every week, then we'll know that he's not our fit either for that reason. So, like, I love Anthony Richardson.
Exactly.
Foosball is dumb.
Really
baseball. Baseball.
Is it? I'm gonna see.
Indy
Test
needs
me,
an
Troy.
MLB. Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna try my best to name the 4 remaining teams
in
the Major League Baseball. There's 4 teams left, right?
Playoff.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so it's Yankees, Mets.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, they're both alive, right?
They're not.
They are, but
I know they're on
playing
different.
each other.
One's AL, one's NL.
All right.
All right, and then we got. Is it the Dodgers?
Yes.
Okay, now the third one or the fourth one.
They're close to you. They're in Ohio.
Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. And aren't both series pretty close right now?
Well, Cleveland won tonight, so it's now 2-1. And the Mets have pretty much shit the bed, and I think they're down 3-1.
Oh no! But everyone wants the Subway Series, right?
Well, of course they do, but they're stupid, and I just want the Dodgers to lose. I hate, despite them having a beautiful stadium, Dodger Stadium it's fucking like. Where did you just go? Didn't you just go to like Cedar Point? Where did you go? Going to
Cedar
Dodger
Point?
Yeah. Going to Dodger Stadium
I went last week.
Is like going to Kings fucking Island. It's pristine. It's got its own parking lot. It's gorgeous out there. So fuck them all.
Have you been to a Dodgers game?
I have. I hate LA.
Oh,
I fucking hate LA. God damn them.
Yeah, I hate LA as well, but I don't. I mean, yeah, I couldn't. I mean, this is. I truly couldn't name a player on any of those 4 teams. I have no idea who.
Shohei
Ohtani.
Oh, which one? Okay.
Aaron Judge. He's
Here's
on the
part
Dodgers.
2.
Aaron Judge.
Shohei Ohtani or Ohtani. Which team is he on?
He's on Los Angeles Dodgers instead of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Is he the one that his assistant was making gambling bets?
Yes.
And went to jail.
And he's
like doing lots of these because it was probably him.
6'8" and has had 2 Tommy John surgeries. So we will see how far he gets.
He's 6'8".
I don't know how tall he is. He's a big fucking.
He doesn't.
What's a Tommy John surgery? What's that mean?
It's like a elbow surgery.
Okay.
Near your elbow.
Yeah.
And he's a pitcher, right?
Well,
he used to be.
Oh, but because of
After the
two Tommy
surgery,
John
after the
surgeries.
surgeries, now he's a DH, and he hit 50 home runs and got 50 stolen bases. So,
Oh damn!
which is
Well,
the first
I've
time that's
heard the
ever
stories that
happened.
he is he the greatest baseball player of all time? I've heard people saying that, but he's old,
Probably.
right?
Mm.
Didn't he start in the MLB later in life than like a lot because he's from Japan or
Well,
something?
he's from Japan. Yeah, he's
He's
not
also,
as he's not like Ichiro. Ichiro, I think, was maybe a little bit older than Otani when he came into the league.
and he's a Mariner,
Well, he was
Yeah.
a Mariner,
and he's an outfielder.
and
Well,
he was an outfielder.
I'm
And
a
he's
long
not
time fan of the
fishing that
Mariners.
bullshit.
So
Ken Griffey.
I don't know anybody currently on that team either, but
Nope.
I had a good time going with Troy. And Troy, Matt Jones, Troy was talking mad shit. Mad shit. We were in the third row. There's only 2 rows in front of us, and everyone else was behind us. We brought that up
Okay.
the whole time while I was there. Troy was talking so much shit, like yelling at players, and they were looking at us. It was a once in a lifetime experience.
But
it was amazing.
who's still in the playoffs? The Metropolitans. Come on, baby.
Oh,
Come
wow.
on.
I do the same thing at Indians games. I yell at the players and I yell like miss it, like they swing and miss 9 times out of 10. It's great.
We were right down the first base line, like just past first base. So like,
in the
just
third
at
row.
the start of the outfield. And so like you could yell at pretty much any base runner that's on first, obviously the first baseman, right field, people in the batters, the batter's box or whatever.
I'd feel guilty about it.
There were a lot of people we had the opportunity to yell at.
Except we were in the third row. I was wearing a Mariners jersey with a Mets hat. Jeremy properly called me out on my dropping F-bombs.
Well,
No, absolutely. You're totally right. I was probably a little tipsy because
we both drank before, to be fair, and I probably peer pressured you.
and during, which is great, but Jeremy
we got some mega beers.
Yep. There is probably a family in front of us, so don't drop the F-bombs. And I immediately stopped the F-bombs, and it was a great time. And the Mariners won like 14-2.
It was so ridiculous we left early. It was a complete annihilation.
It was. So
it was a great one of the probably the best baseball game I've ever been to, or at least most fun I had.
It was a great time, and I respect and appreciate you wheeling me in because
we StubHub those tickets too. Like we just were like, wasn't it like 4 hours in advance? We're just like, let's go to this game.
It might have been less than that. It might have been
after
less than that.
Matt Jones. This is after Troy and I had been watching Counter-Strike tournaments all day. It was dude. It was a great.
Sounds like a Troy day, all right.
No. So I want to say this is the day. So at 9 a.m. we had the women's gold medal soccer match.
Yeah.
And then 2 or 3 hours later, the men's gold medal basketball. And then like 4 hours later, we're at the Mets Mariners game. So it was a pretty awesome day. And we didn't even know any of that stuff was going on. We were just like, oh, there's a soccer game. Oh, it's just the gold medal game. Okay, well, let's watch that. All right, what's on after this? Oh, there's a men's basketball game. What's this all about? Oh, it's the final game. All right, sure. Longtime fan.
Well, the F-bombs were not appropriate, and I immediately stopped, and it was a
You
great
adjusted
time.
your behavior. You're fine.
I did. And I mean, to be fair to myself, unbeknown, because you're there and you're having a good time, but also to respect the Father's Days and saying, you don't need to drop the F-bombs. And I said, you're right. I don't. Course correct. And we did. And then we left in like the 8th inning.
It would have been fine if we brought cake for all the dads.
Well, the Mariners still won like 12-2. And
no. It was yeah. I'm sorry. It was Mariners. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not.
The crowd was not. I've never been in a baseball game with like a crowd environment that was so animated. Usually it's like, well, I'm playing on my phone and like, oh, I'm going to go get a hot dog. And like, person over here is not paying attention. Like, everyone was very engaged
Jeremy,
from a fandom standpoint.
You forget, I was about to say you paid for third row.
Well,
we were on
they weren't that expensive.
It doesn't matter.
It's not like I bought you Taylor Swift tickets.
You might as well
Rich
have.
Uncle Matt Jones didn't become Rich Uncle Matt Jones by buying. I looked at tickets today for Taylor Swift and Indy. Just
broke ass bums.
Nothing
don't
under
sit in third
$1,500.
row. Don't sit in the third row. Anyway, the crate. It's like 40 minutes long. We're back.
It is
awesome. Pretty good. But it feels its length on the second viewing. I would absolutely say, except for Adrienne Barbeau, who's I don't know what to say. She's obnoxious and she's annoying, but that's her role, right?
Yes.
She delivers.
And then there's like 40 minutes of this is the one that kind of caught me off guard. I don't want to say even caught me off guard, but it suspended disbelief a little bit too much where and I love the creature. I'm okay with the creature design. Tom Savini, back to the Dawn of the Dead and beyond. Little flat for me. Discuss.
I have a comment that in my notes that says the creature LOL.
It's kind of funny looking.
I
mean, hey, that's what I would expect from an Antarctic creature or whatever that thing is. You know, it's from the Antarctic. It's going to have probably a bunch of white fur and be very vicious. So
likes that box. Just don't go in there near the box. But there doesn't appear to be anything keeping it in the box a lot of the time. It just stays in there. But if you go in that little Harry Potter area under the stairs, then the creature gets upset.
It's his home, man. And he's been living in that crate for by this point in time is 34. So like 48 years, almost 50 years. He's probably like, this is my home. Don't bring me out of my home. I don't like it. And so he attacks anything that takes him out of his home.
That's fair.
I'm with that.
To be fair on this one, it was getting late and I was kind of like, all right, there's how much time left in this movie? And so I finished this one and then went to bed and finished the last one today. So I may not be being 100% fair to this one. It felt really long and his wife was really obnoxious and we all knew what was coming. There's going to be some sort of setup. He fantasizes about shooting his wife. Doesn't early on he like shoots his wife and you find out it's a fantasy and he didn't really
multiple times.
And
he
I
does
just
the
think
shot and then the killing her with like strangling her with his tie.
Yeah. And Hal Holbrook, you know, like I know he's a little bit before our time as an actor for the most part. I will never ever forget the most haunting performance of his career for me at least. And I probably haven't seen most of the things he's been in, but Into the Wild. Have you guys seen that movie or read the book?
No.
He plays this, you know, the story of Into the Wild is a true story. That Alex McCandless, I think is his name. You know, he just left all of his worldly possessions and said, I'm going to go live in the middle of the wilderness in Alaska. And he promptly died because he didn't know what he was doing.
He ate something funky, right?
Yeah, he ate berries that he thought were fine. And then they
Right.
dehydrated him or something. But he along the way in the movie and in the book, he meets a cast of characters. And there's one character in particular, Hal Holbrook, who's very old at this point. And he's like, doesn't want him to go because you can just see it in his eyes that he knows something's bad's going to happen. And he's just this, it's heartbreaking because he wants to stop him. And he's like, I can't stop him because he's got to do what he's got to do. Such a sad, he won an Oscar or was at least nominated for that performance in Into the Wild. So it's just so funny to see him in this role because that's where I know him from is from Into the Wild. And yeah,
he's also in The Fog.
I've never seen The Fog. You guys brought it up earlier.
It's one of those movies where people don't like it, I think, but Simpleton Me really loves it because it is so simple.
Is it John Carpenter?
It is. It is.
Okay.
And it's very basic, very what's that book series called? Like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh yeah.
It's so simple. It's so simple.
What's going on with the fog? Like, is there a creature in there or what? I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, but I want to know what's in the fog.
Not a spoiler.
What's in the
at all.
fog? What's in the fog?
So a bunch of pirates that have like gold.
Wait, what? There's pirates in
there are. That's who's in the fog. Were hoodwinked by descendants of Hal Holbrook, like his great grand what have yous, to crash on the rocks with the lighthouse. So they stole all their gold, and then they're coming back to get them, which is the vengeance 100 years later. So
I was not expecting that to be the case from the box art or the
it is
poster.
and the dad from the movie that we're talking about he's one of the mains with Jamie Lee Curtis in The Fog.
Okay.
So
bolt your doors, lock your windows. There's something in the fog.
And Adrienne Barbeau is one of the other leads. She's the radio DJ. It's I don't know. It's a super simple movie, but my Neanderthal brain really loves that.
Cool
fact. So anyway,
check her out.
To your point about the crate and how Holbrook, it's a really long segment. I think it's the longest of the whole film, and it constantly makes you suspend disbelief despite your dislike for Adrienne Barbeau's character. And they just call me Billy, I think it's her name, and all that jazz. It's just like, come on, get to it.
There's some dynamite sequences in this one to set up to make her very unlikable.
Oh my god!
Like it's like uncomfortable. It's not real. It's a movie, and I'm just imagining myself in some of these scenarios. There's so like, as I recall, there was like a outdoor party early on where she just says everything that no one in real life would ever say to make everything awkward and uncomfortable,
and everyone walks away.
Yeah, it's the epitome of the you brought your friend to the party that but it's his significant other. So it's even worse.
For sure.
Yeah. Why doesn't he leave her? I feel like that came up.
Because he's an emasculated man.
Okay. So he has to
he has fantasies about this, but he has no spine. This is see, the reason why I like this the most is because this is the one I liked the most, because to me, like the worst person, like you in most horror movies, they're always like, especially ones with like creatures, there may be some people who like don't deserve it. The custodian guy doesn't deserve to get eaten. The other guy there, like those are just happenstance. But what happens from there is like the guy that's there that helped open it is like freaking out about it. That's like a real life thing. And then finally, after having these fantasies, this other guy goes in. It's like just like something snaps, and it's like, I know a way I can kill her without getting into trouble about it. And he goes through all of this effort to go do it. And it's like, she's like clearly the worst person you've ever seen. And so you're kind of like rooting for it. And then they tease you by him not getting it. And then finally she gets it. And it's kind of like, all right, like it like that. Some
justice is served.
That to me is like it's like crowd pleasing type of horror movie where it's like the person that you want to get their comeuppance gets their comeuppance after all this time, and then like those two guys are there and they're like, well, I'm not gonna, like, you're not gonna say anything about this, are you? I've cleaned up all the evidence. And he's like, the other guy's like, no, because like both of them could theoretically get in trouble about all this whole thing. And I read that this is based off one of Stephen King's actual short stories, and I had read that in.
Do you remember what the short story is called?
I don't know. The Crate.
Okay.
I could look it up. I could look it up later. But in the actual short story, it ends basically with their chess game where they just agree, like, we're not going to talk about this, right? Like, this bad thing happened there. It's like, we've cleaned it up, and your wife is dead, and we've cleaned that up. And so we're just not going to talk about this anymore. And then the movie added the thing about him getting out of the crate. Like, that wasn't in the actual short
Oh,
story. That was
interesting.
the little change that they made. So
I only asked what it was based on because I haven't read like a ton of Stephen King, but I've read like the Bachman books, and I think I read Four Past Midnight, and like I don't know, there was a number of like Stephen King short story books that he's published that I have read, like The Running Man.
Amazing.
Ooh. Do you
so
know?
the crate is literally just called the crate, and then the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill was based off of a short story called Weeds.
Okay.
So
Oh, interesting. Okay. Sorry, quick aside. I know I've done that several times, but they are remaking The Running Man right now.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Mm-mm.
I am probably more stoked about this remake than any film that I know of that's in production. It is.
Edgar Wright.
It's Edgar Wright
Yeah.
with Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell's like the it guy, which I don't know how I feel about that, but Edgar Wright is apparently a big fan of the original short story or novella or whatever. And like people who are fans of the Running Man book have frequently said like the movie is ridiculous and like we could do it on Omeo, but it's the tone of
Let's
the
do it.
actual book is so badass. It's so good. It like if somebody played that book straight, it would make such a cool movie. And so apparently Edgar Wright is going down that path of more of a faithful representation. So I am so stoked.
Cool.
Yeah, it's Josh Brolin. I'm checking the IMDb page now. Josh Brolin's associated with it. I don't know who Katie O'Brien is. Anyway, moving on.
That's super rad. I mean,
I've been waiting to like work that in here somewhere because I'm just so excited.
no, dude, perfect. Because I mean, I can say that I like the Running Man movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, although it's completely goofy and horseshit. But having read the short story multiple times, and it's brutal, man. Like it ends with
Yeah,
him flying a plane with his guts like ripping out, crashing into
take down the network. It's the
yeah,
network building. Yeah,
yes, and
spoilers.
like, well, sorry to listeners, to viewers.
Sub-Zero now. Plane Zero.
I
Jesse
still
Ventura's in the movie.
I still don't get that joke. I don't get that joke. What's that joke? That joke's explained to me, please. I don't get it. You're just
Just a
plain
plain zero.
zero.
He's dead. He's not any good anymore. As opposed to Sub-Zero, which is the guy's name.
To be fair,
It's really not that deep.
Okay. I thought
I will.
it was.
I will say that movie works really well. Like The Running Man could be a double feature with Creepshow. I
Okay.
think. I watched it maybe about a month ago.
Okay.
It started, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. And I was like, well, the ice skating guy's gonna come out soon. And I got to see what happens to the ice skating man. And then the guy with the little car that sings opera that does the electricity stuff.
Right.
And then later on, the next guy's gonna come out. And he's like, I quit. I'm not doing this. It's like it's kind of an awesome movie. It's ridiculous, but it's kind of great.
I'm gonna watch it after we get off the phone tonight.
You should.
I
will not be disappointed. It's a fun movie.
I own
and then
it.
There's like this whole like we gotta do the upload main link that'll hack the network. And there's like the resistance, whoever the resistance is like doing things, and I'm like, all right, I guess. And then the AI, that's like the first occurrence of AI that I can remember. The AI in Arnold getting killed by somebody, but it didn't really happen. They like face swap
deep fake.
Yeah, deep fake.
Which, oh my goodness,
I'm
No,
sorry, we're never gonna get through this movie.
No. I mean, it's wonderful that we've talked about it because I agree with you. The movie is crap, but also entertaining and enjoyable to the point of I am absolutely going to watch it the second we get off this phone call.
I might watch it too.
Yeah, but the book, the Bachman book, despite his cocaineism, which again I've
Why do
never
you keep
done
saying that?
cocaine.
What does that mean? Is
What's
it
that?
Oh, Stephen King was a huge cocaine.
okay? I don't know if I knew that.
Oh
He was
yeah, yeah.
alcoholic and a cocaine addict. So yeah,
And here's
Was
well, maybe is.
who knows?
I've watched enough like clips of him where he's like cross-eyed and goofy. Like, is he really cross-eyed and goofy? Just like a goofy motherfucker on coke? I don't know. Does anybody know? We don't know. It looks like he is, but he's a billionaire, so what the fuck? Who cares? He doesn't care. But
he's fine with it? He's made his peace with his eyes.
We've covered one of his other movies, which is The Shining, and so far as I know, he did not like the interpretation of The Shining, redid it himself, and it's just dog shit. So
Wait, he redid it?
I think.
Yeah, it
Is
was
that
like
the
a
Doctor Sleep or whatever?
No, that's something else. There was a made-for-TV a version, I believe, of The Shining that's supposed to be more in line with the Stephen King novel.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. Compared to
the Doctor Sleep is a sequel to The Shining.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Which I'd be okay with.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're making it through the crate. No, I'm gonna.
I don't have anything
Pretty sure we're done. Pretty sure we're done
other
with the
than the
crate.
creature's teeth.
I'm checking my notes.
Okay.
Adrienne Barbeau is boozed up. We already talked about that.
It's a crime what they did to have her not use her normal voice. That is a crime. That's the worst. The worst part of the crate is that she has a terrible voice.
It reminds me of Chandler Bing.
Yeah,
it's something else. College creepy colors, which we'll talk about. My 5 takeaways of just beautiful like gel work on the lights. And despite it being like 40 minutes long, I dig the ending. She gets eaten. I'm guessing Hal Holbrook plays chess. They throw the crate into the ocean, and then it gets out. So we don't know what's going to happen, right? I guess. Is that what we're taking away, right? Correct? Okay.
Yep. I had one observation near the end after the creature kills. I said the guy. I don't know if I meant her. There's blood running down, and it gets on an outlet, and the outlet sparks from the blood. I was like, "That's pretty badass." Little like somebody like took the time to make that spark, and I thought that was cool.
That was from the custodian. That was the first kill when he ate the
I did not have
guy.
a lot of notes on this one, so okay.
Yeah,
that was Savini and his beautiful gore work, which I mean, I don't need a lot of gore in this, and to be up until this point, I don't remember there being other gore, but there was quite a few like face scratches, neck bites, brain bites, and etc. in this movie or in this this segment. Thank you, Matt Jones. Okay, it made it worth it to me, and despite it being long and kind of boring the second time through, it was kind of cool. So I don't know. I mean,
moving on.
well, suspending disbelief. It's so goofy. Like, I'm going to send my wife to this creature to get eaten underneath the stairs. Like, really?
Yeah.
You could just get a divorce with her. Also, I mean, I'm just saying
something.
I mean, did she deserve to die? She's pretty horrible. Did she do anything in the movie that is deserving of a death sentence? But I mean, we're all on the same page here. Like, she's horrible, and like everyone as a viewer is like, all right, I can get on board with this. But again,
Go ahead, Matt Jones. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the one thing I do about her that is, I think they ADR'd her saying like she's such a female crotch, and then like the two ladies walk away, and I'm like, she dropped the C word there, and for some reason they decided to edit that out. And I'm like,
Wait, is that a
why?
real line? She's such a
Yeah.
female crotch.
They say she says something about like, and I heard the word crotch, and then I saw the two ladies walk away, and it was clearly like 80 yard in, like it was dubbed over, and I'm like, oh, she dropped the C bomb, and they decided to take it out of the movie. Why? Once they start dropping F bombs, it's like they progressively realized that the movie was going to get more and more violent and vulgar, and it's like, well, I guess they're going to be rated R, and they didn't realize it. They didn't go back in and make the earlier parts more like rated R, and like they just decided at the end of the movie, like whatever, we're going to be rated R.
To be
Let's
fair,
just go
though, like
for it.
in some circles, especially in the United States, like obviously, if we were talking about Snatch, I think before we started. I don't know if
Yeah.
we started recording yet or not, but
Maybe.
Snatch, C word central in that movie. Like nobody cares in
yeah.
England. It's
In England,
different
no,
in
it
England, a jolly old United Kingdom, but over here, the C word. I won't even say we will all drop F bombs, no problem. But the C word is like the unforgivable. It's the Avada Kedavra of cuss words in America. Right?
Maybe.
N-word is the
Okay.
is
That's fair.
That's the worst.
That's fair.
C word, I think, is just below it. It's below it. It's below it.
I would definitely agree.
Yes.
I can say cunt on the OMIO show and not feel bad.
Well, now we're getting demonetized, Troy. There goes all of our YouTube money.
Disconnect.
There goes all our money. In 1980, whatever, I can understand. But she is
vagina. It's fine.
She is so awful that
like we're gonna 80-yard Troy's word.
The crotch. To be fair, and this is a mom word. Crotch is way worse to me. It is so funky that I don't dig it. I don't dig it at all. I don't dig it.
It's like moist. You don't like the word moist.
I'm okay. I'm okay
like
with
a moist crotch.
I'm okay with that because I like cake. The word crotch in particular weirds me out, and I don't like it. I'd rather say.
I did not know this about you, Troy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, I have not. Crotch doesn't come up commonly for me. But it's the thing that you got to admit about crotch is it is a unisex word, so I kind of appreciate that about it.
I'm okay.
Everybody's got a crotch.
I'm okay with that. It's just weird. I just don't like it. And it's a mom. That's the word that my mom used.
Anticipate this coming up tonight.
Well, I don't think she ever said cunt, but crotch was definitely brought up.
Edit that one. Let's see, 145. We gotta look between 144 and 145.
I don't think she ever said the word crotch.
It's fine. The NPA had to edit it, and I dig it, but
would have been rated X if they'd said the same.
Yeah, right.
For 40 minutes and all the wonderful actors in that scene, it just seemed drawn out and boring to me. And I like the gore scenes, and I'm not a big gore person anymore, but it was cool. It was cool. Tom Savini got his work in, and I dig it. But having this creature underneath the stairs in this crate, and then the fact that he murdered multiple people, and then Hal Holbrook just like locked it up and ditched it in the water.
Sometimes you gotta throw a crate in the water.
And then the claws coming out. It was cool. It was super cool.
We never really saw all of the creature. We saw, there were a lot of times where it was like, and then
right,
and then it bites somebody or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it it's a monkey of some sort, right? Looks like a gorilla with sharp teeth.
Like a violent Yeti.
A violent Yeti.
I dig that.
As opposed to the non-violent Yetis. I appreciate
the peacekeeping Yetis.
After whatever that guy's name is from
Harry and the
Rudolph
Hendersons.
whenever he takes all the teeth out of the Yeti in the Rudolph movie, he becomes the Bumble. He's just a friendly Bumble after that. He helps put the star on the tree. So non-violent after that.
I like that it is ended. It ends ambiguous. Like it escaped from the crate, which you would
Mhm.
expect because it has the power to escape from the crate. Hal Holbrook and his buddy playing chess. We're not gonna worry about it. We're cool. We don't know. I dig that.
What if Leslie Nielsen comes in after we didn't even see it, and Leslie Nielsen buries him in 1.5 feet of sand,
I would love that.
and he's like, Yeti can't get out. It's just too much sand.
Yeti can hold his breath for a long time.
He can, and it's good cable quality because he's, if nothing else, Leslie Nielsen is concerned about everyone's cable quality in that short. He wants to make sure that everyone's connection is sound because,
Yeah,
he's curious about the cable quality. Okay, last
Roaches.
one. Ooh, I have written down creeping up on you.
I did not catch the name of this one, so I just wrote it down as Roaches. I missed the title screen.
They're creeping up on you.
Oh my god. I couldn't watch it the second time because we're going back to the visceral. This segment just grossed me the fuck out. Grossed me out. And I don't kill spiders. I let them go. I do everything I can to allow for the bugs in my residency live the best life that they can. But
Having said that,
absolutely nauseating.
This is too many bugs.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And this guy's a complete shitbag, and I dig it. And as I was talking earlier, like, hey, this is the most non-controversial OMIO ever, until he's calling people of color black people and all that kind of stuff.
What?
Well, the guy that comes to the door, he's like,
yes.
you're gonna be good at doing this because you're black or whatever it was. It was.
I agree.
Make him even
he's
worse.
basically
It's to make
Scrooge.
him even worse. Yeah, it's to make him out to be even more unlike.
Yes,
he's already a terrible Uncle Scrooge type of person. Now let's make him racist too, and it's just like, all right, you're just ready for him to get what's coming to him.
Yes.
It's interesting too because we talked about like some of the, like Rumja, you said early on, like a little bit of the like justice and bad things happening to bad people, that kind of thing. And then like this movie does kind of end with 2 back-to-back bad things happening to bad people. Arguable whether or not the dad deserves it in the
very end.
Epilogue. There we go. But yeah, so just I want to say, like, I got a little bit of Clockwork Orange vibes from a little bit of this too. Just the all white. I really like the design and the kind of claustrophobia of the scene. It's all contained pretty much in this one apartment. We don't really see the outside world. There's some exterior shots, but I thought that all white, the super high tech Troy station that the guy had on display, the crazy computer, like, even though it's obviously outdated, it's an 82, but like everything about this I thought was super cool. They really commit to the sterility. Is that the right word? Sterility. Mm-hmm. He's wearing gloves. He has his little, like, I kind of want that little flush garbage disposal thing that he has. I would use that. But yeah, I think this is of all the shorts here, I think it does one of the best jobs of like setting up a really cool environment that I'm intrigued by. The existence of the first cockroach. You're like, oh, this is going to be a problem. I know this is going to be a problem later. And
it was a problem.
Yeah, and then obviously we have the Bob Cratchit moment where he calls the guy who's taking his family on vacation to Disney World. He's like, you can take, if you don't take care of this issue, you can go to Disney World all year round next year on your welfare check. I was like, ooh. Also kind of interesting that Disney World exists in this sort of pseudo future environment. I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, just I'm a techie guy. I love the peephole or whatever. Like it like does this like you can see each other and then it closes. I thought that was like some of the tech in this one I thought was really cool.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, so go on.
It's fucking
Whoever.
gross. It's so gross.
It is.
Where was the moment? So I mean, everybody had a gross like the existence of a cockroach. Obviously, they're gross bugs, but the existence of one in a scene is not that bad. For me, when he dumped out the cereal and they all scurried out of the cereal, the fact that like maybe there's cockroaches in my food and I didn't know it, that's I think something that everybody can identify with.
When
not that I have them in my house.
Food processor.
Oof.
And he's like, oh,
he's like, what is this?
And then they all come out of they all start coming out at that time. So,
of his corpse.
Or well, that was the thing. So like I was until the very end when they cut back and they're like no bugs and he's in his like safe room and I'm like, oh, maybe it was just his mind, like psychological. Like that would be a Twilight Zone ending of there were no bugs. It was just this guy going crazy with all this stuff, and it was like the world getting revenge on him in his mind. And then the bugs came out of it, and I'm like, oh nope, this is not a Twilight Zone ending. He like apparently really was infected with bugs or whatever. So yeah, that was pretty creepy.
Yeah, I also like the phone. The phone was a prominent character in this one too.
Yep.
He's hitting all the intercom buttons, but then there was some other buttons on the phone that he's like talking directly. I assume an intercom, but when he yells at the guy that's stuck in the elevator, I was like, "It's over, bro. You can't yell at the guy stuck in the elevator." Okay, maybe the guy on vacation. Maybe the guy on vacation didn't do something he was supposed to. But the guy stuck in the elevator, this guy's going to die. And it's probably by cockroach.
And it was.
I mean,
that's where you die.
I love that point, and I totally agree with you. So I don't know. It's great, but also they absolutely used real cockroaches.
Yeah. There's that scene where the room is like half full of them, and I don't know how they could have faked that. It looks like they legitimately had that many cockroaches.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't want to look into it because it kind of freaks me out, but I don't know. I watched everything a second time because of the show, and I could not watch this because it grossed me out so much the first time. Both, not only the visceral reaction of these are real bugs, and this guy is dealing with them.
And they're all over him in multiple scenes.
Taking.
Like legitimately, they were all over him. There's no way to fake that.
No, and then I was like, in his bed, like there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these motherfuckers. Like,
Troy, you're an animal lover.
I am,
if I may say. You can bleep this out if it's not okay, but you're a vegetarian and a vegan.
Yep.
How do you like obviously in recent years it's considered an uncouth to squish and kill animals in real life.
They would never do this in 2024.
I was wondering about that because like I'm like they're cockroaches. They're considered probably one of the lowest life forms on the planet in terms of like if I was going to squish or kill an animal, the thing that I would get the least amount of flack about would be killing a cockroach. But there are clearly lots of cockroaches really, really killed during this.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, like that wouldn't fly now, right?
No, absolutely not. Same thing with like Apocalypse Now. Like they kill a water buffalo in that movie. If you haven't seen that movie recently, like they hacked the shit out of a. It's dude. It's hard to watch.
I do remember that.
And
they really do it.
End.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
And
confirmed. Like they didn't do a
no,
water buffalo body double, or
no.
they didn't
No.
hire a stunt buffalo.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's like pygmy. It's fucked up. But so yes, they would not do that nowadays. And as whatever I am at this point in time, it's kind of fucked up. But at the same time, it's like it's just the fact of it's like
You see a roach in your apartment, Troy? Are you squishing it? Are you trying to
mm,
let it out
I
to
mean,
live its best life?
here's the fucked up thing.
I'm squishing the fuck out of a
The
cockroach if I see one.
the day of watching this movie, a big ass I think they're called, what are they called? Spiders.
On legs?
No, it's a spider that doesn't necessarily kill by web. It kills by, not a tiger spider. Anyway,
Like a wolf spider?
yes, thank you. There was a wolf
Yeah.
spider up in my, you can't see it here. Maybe. Yeah, right there. In my curtains. And I didn't kill it. I let it go with the intention of capturing it and releasing it, and then it hid in the curtains. And now I'm fucking freaked out.
Now you just can't even get that bro to leave.
I've shaked the shit, and I don't
He's
know
like,
where
give
it
me them
is.
Cheetos.
It's not. Yes, it's not gonna bite me. I'm not afraid of it. It's like taking my
Right.
life, but
He's catching other bullshit in your place too.
something. Well, here's the thing. There's other spiders that I let live in my apartment that are catching other shit. So I let the spiders fight it out. But this was a mean looking motherfucker, and I don't like it.
I'm just watching Rumja's face right now.
But I'm afraid of my neighbors. Like, what are you yelling about on Thursday nights? Oh my god! Because you're usually so quiet. You listen to records.
This is what they're saying about you right now. They're like,
That's
why
what I'm
is
saying.
he so? Why does he keep mentioning a creature in a crate?
That's what I'm saying.
So loudly.
That's what I'm saying. I let it go, and now it's creeping me out, and I won't read in that couch, which I normally would read at because I'm afraid of a fucking spider falling on me.
I mean, you've heard the statistic that supposedly every human
I don't give a shit about all that.
eats like numerous bugs in their sleep a year or something like that. I don't know if that's true.
Bullshit. Spiders are way too smart.
That wolf spider's coming for you.
No, it's not.
He's going, I want to go in his mouth tonight, and I want to die in his mouth.
Bigger fish to fry, but the other spiders that have webs in my apartment are going to catch their ass without their web. So I'm not really worried about it, but to your point, that this creeping up on you. Let me see if I've got any other notes before we move on, because we've gone for plenty of long time, which is great. Can you not believe that we've talked so long and we haven't had like weird, politically incorrect conversations? It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Tom Savini, he's in the very end. All I have is written is fucking gross, and there's bugs.
I had a line outlined in my notes that I laughed out loud when I heard. Everyone's got the damn herpes these days. He says that. I was like, what?
There you go.
He's a mother scratcher, and he gets his own. He gets his comeuppance in his clean room. I don't know.
Chew your food before you swallow. That's during this, right?
Ugh.
I don't remember.
I don't like it.
I'll say shout out to the practical effects in the final scene. It's clearly fake art from Christmas Vacation. Again, I'll just keep calling him that. It's art, Uncle Art. There's like,
I was like, fake art. What?
Oh yeah. And there's like bulging things on the skin, and then they just sorry, Troy, but they just burst out. And I'm like, they had to have been like high-fiving each other on set when they film that scene. It works very well. It's completely creepy, even knowing that it's not a real body, because they're real bugs. They can't CG these things in. I thought that was pretty dynamite. So it's a very creepy finale to the to all the shorts.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree.
And he's a super bad guy, and he deserved what he got.
Yep. You're right. I mean, that's the crazy thing. It ends exactly how you want it, with the shitbag getting what he deserves. But as a human being,
You hate both.
it's visceral. I mean, and I'm not a horror guy. I don't like violence. As you're talking about the misery. I don't want to see people like tortured in real life. But the couple things in this movie that are real life ish creep me the fuck out. And we're not going to talk about Creepshow 2 because, and this is a weird thing, I don't know if I've seen this movie maybe once in my life, 30 years ago, but Creepshow 2 I definitely have seen with the what's it?
Sure.
The lake
Mhm.
story and all that stuff.
Do you recommend it? I'd never seen any Creepshow anything before this, so
sure. Why not? Why not?
I'm sure it ups the ante on gore and creepiness, and that's how horror movies do. They're like, oh, we got to beat the last one.
I can't remember. The thing I remember about Creepshow 2 is there's a native / Indian scene or movie or
cigar statue.
yeah,
things.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Which as a kid, again, this was like 30 years ago, scared the shit out of me. But then also the lake scene where this blob in the lake is like eating people alive, which as a 8-year-old,
As a hater of blobs,
it
right?
scared the shit out of me. But this movie, those both of those are kind of like surreal, so they don't freak me out as much. But this movie in particular,
Is there only 2 Creepshows? Is there?
that's a good question. There's
you
only 2
celebrate
that I remember of in the video store of the 80s.
And then it was probably Tales from the Crypt, honestly.
Probably
right?
Matt Jones.
Because Tales from the Crypt probably debuted early 90s, right? Early to mid 90s.
Yeah, with the Dennis Miller movie, whatever that movie was.
Oh my
The
goodness.
vampire one. There was.
Are you talking about Tales from the Dark Side or the Tales from the Crypt movie?
I thought there were 2 or maybe I am thinking of Tales. I thought there were 2 Tales from the Crypt movies.
I thought there was one called like Demon Knight or something like that.
Demon Knight, yeah. And it was. I remember it was hip hop oriented. I can't remember the details.
And there's also a pinball machine, which we might have talked about last time. It's a Data East, and it's got the wireframe ramps, which
Rumja will know this reference. I don't know if Troy will, but you'll know exactly where I'm going if you remember this, Rumja. Sean Salisbury. Do you remember that character on
football? Oh wait, and what?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay,
he was a sports commentator, and he had a love-hate relationship with he was a skinny little guy with glasses that was a sports guy. Well, I can't remember his name. He called him the Crypt Keeper, and it ended his career. And again, that's very mean. But I've always thought it was hilarious. Sean Salisbury.
You're talking about the dude from ESPN that was John. That was like the guy that was always like that talking head dude. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yes. I mean, if you type, at least on my browser, when I type Sean Salisbury, it auto completes Crypt Keeper as the very first entry. John Clayton. That's it.
Clayton. Yeah.
Anyway. Well, I have on my Plex server, it's actively downloading Tales from the Crypt complete. I'm going to definitely watch them. I remember David Duchovny on one.
So by the way, there were 2 movies. One of them was Demon Knight, and the other one was Bordello of Blood.
Ooh, that's I remember both of those.
Dennis Miller was in the Bordello of Blood movie.
That's right.
Okay.
Do you guys like Dennis Miller?
I have. I've enjoyed some of his stuff. His esoteric remarks speak to me as like a Mystery Science Theater lover, but
They're good, but they kind of wear thin.
Recently he's just been like whatever. I've not listened to him in a long time. So
I saw a clip where he was visiting.
what is going on with Troy?
Where'd you go?
I fell over with it. Oh my god, Dennis Miller / who's the other guy? Oh my
Norm
goodness.
Macdonald. That's where I was going.
No, he's dead. He's dead. Norm Macdonald's dead.
R.I.P.
No, the
John Clayton, the Crypt Keeper?
No. The leftist guy. Son of a bitch. Don't make me look this up.
The leftist guy.
Yeah.
Dennis Miller?
No, he's Republican. The
Barack
other guy.
Obama. Oh,
God damn it! No.
is this helping if I yell out names that are
Yes,
not who you're
it
thinking
is.
of? Rosie O'Donnell.
No. Son of a bitch.
I'm
Son of a bitch.
I have to know who you're thinking of.
I
now.
know it's gonna make me so mad.
The leftist guy, and it came up amidst
Dennis Miller.
No, he's a comedian.
Uh-huh.
He's got
George
a podcast
Carlin?
now. No,
Oh,
he's a comedian as a podcast. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
that's
Mark
all
Maron?
of them.
No, Mark Maron's kind of okay.
I don't know any. I don't know any.
Politically
Is it Norm
correct.
Macdonald?
Who's the guy from
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Motherfuck that guy. I agree. And then I'm like, you are a piece of shit. Fuck you. And
Bill Maher's good. Bill Maher's good at getting like, oh, that's a very sensible point of view. And then 30 seconds later, something I strongly disagree with.
He's good at pissing me off as a entitled white guy in Hollywood. Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck him. I hate him so much. And then I can't stop because he has like Quentin Tarantino on for 2 hours. I'm like, oh, I want to hear what Quentin Tarantino has to say. And then Bill Maher's like, and I'm like, fuck you. I hate your ass. Anyway,
this is the best episode of OMIO of all time.
My neighbor. Well, because I
uploaded completely unedited.
I'm gonna upload it
even with the 10-minute break in between.
I'm gonna upload that too. Because
you need to at least like for YouTube continuity purposes, you need to do the sometime later.
No, I'm not going to do any of that
thing.
because guess what? No one watches, so it doesn't matter.
There will be at least four views.
I want to like Bill Maher. I want to smoke weed with him and drink vodka with him at his.
No, you don't.
I kind of do until he just goes into his pretentious.
I like him. I like like as I get older, I've come to peace with the fact that it's okay if I like some of what someone has to say and not all of it. Like I'll take this. He's disingenuous sometimes. Sometimes he's pursuing a narrative. I get it, but sometimes he says some pretty good, and he's good at taking the piss out of things. Just like, sorry, I'm about to pull Troy, the British guy on HBO or Max.
Oh,
John
Ricky
Oliver.
Gervais. Oh, John Oliver. Oh,
yeah, like John Oliver's really funny. Sometimes I'm like, that was kind of low hanging fruit, and whatever, that's fine. But
good term.
Anyway, it's okay. I don't have to agree with everything all the time. Troy, real quick though, I feel like you were going to end with 5 things, something.
Yeah. All right. Aside from Bill Maher,
things I hate about you.
And I'm enjoying my time, but I'm like, we may never get out of here if I don't.
I mean,
reel us back in.
Here's the funny thing,
because we got to get off here, and we got to watch The Running Man.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch on my iPad Mini 2017. So 5 takeaways. I mean, the stupidest fucking movie that we've watched.
Maybe
maybe that has no like crazy social commentary or like weirdness between the hosts that we are. We still have 5 takeaways. So the sets. Beautiful. I love the sets. Let's go to the Leslie Nielsen. He's got all the cameras set up and he's running wire to the closed circuit television. Just cool. Just fucking cool to see in 2024, which doesn't exist anymore. Everyone has iPhones and they're live streaming, which is fucking weird to me, but that's what they do. I love the comic book transitions, as I'm sure you guys have noticed, between not only the scenes, but also like the story segments. Super sweet, right? I dig it. I really, really, really dig it a lot. I don't see it a lot. Even if you watch like Thor Ragnarok or any of those comic book movies, they do legit like panel swipes, which is sweet to me.
Well, there's no CG, so they had to like, I don't know how they do it, but like it's probably an overhead projector or some sort of equivalent of that, where like they have some sort of graphic with the film processing through it. I'd love. It's funny how like nowadays I have more questions about how they did stuff at this time than I do now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they just they just did a computer thing or whatever now. But like some of this old stuff, I'm like, but how'd you do it?
They paint on the actual film stock, I think.
And then like each frame they have to like, all right, we're gonna paint on this one, and then we're gonna paint on this.
And it's shooting at 24, so like do the math. Like
it's
if it's
so cool.
10 seconds, that's
so cool.
240 frames of paint. It's fucking gnarly, man.
I wonder if one day there will be like, so I heard this, I stole this from a podcast, but like one day, this was on a video game podcast, but the person said one day people will kind of relish the fact that like, oh, here's a video game that was made with zero AI. Like that'll be like a bragging point. Or like this movie was made kind of like Christopher Nolan. This movie was made with minimal to no CG.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool badge of honor that may come back in the future. Maybe not, but anyway, continue, Troy.
Well, I mean, that freaks me out in the sense of I'm trying to think of the last movie I saw that was kind of recent was like The Batman. Was there AI in that movie? Like, I'm sure there was kind of some gimmicks, but otherwise, it was a pretty fucking gruesome movie, if I remember correctly.
The Robert Pattinson Batman movie?
Yeah, with the
that was 7 hours long.
The Riddler, like he legit like duct tape people and like beat them in the skull with fucking metal. Like just gruesome, just fucking gruesome. It was horrible.
Yeah. That is, I mean, yeah, I would say it's like more on par with like a detective thriller movie than a superhero movie.
Yeah, like it. I mean,
yeah, that movie's awesome. I said it was 7 hours. I was just joking. I really liked it.
Right. I mean, like I said, I don't know anything about that dude. I mean, Forks is down the street, and I've been to Forks many, many times.
No, you've been to what?
Forks, Washington, where the vampire movies took place.
The Twilight movies. Okay.
Where we always planned to go, and then we
like,
just
I don't remember
fucked up and hang out at my apartment.
Yeah, well, you know, let's go tomorrow.
Let's go to the ocean.
All right, well, I'm going home tomorrow. I mean, we don't want to go all the way out there, do we? No. All right.
Let's just hang out. Anyway, that movie maybe people didn't like it. I don't know. I liked it quite a bit, and it was super realistic and pretty fucking brutal at the end of the day. Why are we talking about that? Anyway, go see the Batman if you haven't seen it. It's pretty good. The color gels. I mean, again, as I have some experience with filmmaking and television, I don't know how they did all this. I honestly don't know. Like Leslie Nielsen, or in the Father's Day, like the guy saying like, "Oh my God," and it turns from a regular scene to a completely crazy purple gels behind him.
What do you mean when you say gels? Like, are they putting something in front of the lighting?
Yeah.
You put a colored thing in front of the lights, and it changes it from.
Okay, I didn't notice that throughout, where it's like
to blue.
Yeah, suddenly it's red everywhere.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes,
it's
yes,
not
yes.
okay.
I mean, they are everywhere throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fucking cool. I mean, it's a
cool
I guess
effect.
I guess young kids would be like, "Oh, that's cheesy," but as an old man, I'm like, that's a lot of work.
Well, yeah, now you
and
just like
cool.
you do a little slider on your MacBook Pro, and then it does it for you. So
right. Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love all the practical stuff.
Number 4 is Leslie Nielsen.
Mhm.
I mean,
Hmm?
just awesome performance. Got me creeped out. For as much as I love that guy for Naked Gun,
And he gave us the new lazy meme.
he gave us. And oh my god, I want all of their properties. I want all their properties. I want the bachelor pads with the fish tank in the middle of the room for whatever reason,
And that phone. Sorry, don't
and
run past that phone. That phone's pretty sweet.
and the phone on the cameras. It's pretty rad. And then number 5, last thing I have is the old technology with the phones, all that stuff, the cable television. It doesn't exist nowadays, but at the time, it made for pretty creepy scenes. So I don't know. Overall, I highly recommend this film, especially in October season. I just bought Jason X for $5, which we can't watch until like 2020, 2031 or some ridiculous stuff like that. So we can't watch that, but it creeped me out. It viscerally made me uncomfortable for 2 movies or 2 segments of it, and I could not wait to talk to you guys about it. So, yeah, what a cool movie. What a cool movie.
Matt Jones,
Final
do you
thoughts.
recommend this movie? I think you were muted, or you. I could
Oh,
tell you
no.
said no though.
I could say no. No.
Really?
No. It's not a good movie.
What?
So, there you go.
What would you recommend instead?
It's not a good movie.
Watch creepier. Watch like 4 creepier Twilight Zone episodes that actually say something about the nature of man. I don't know. The monsters are due on Maple Street.
Is that a
That's
Twilight
actually
Zone
very.
episode?
It is a Twilight Zone episode. It's very apropos to kind of life these days, but it's always been pretty apropos to American society.
Is it black and white?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, not watching.
That's fair.
Just kidding. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and hard disagree and say highly recommended.
Okay.
No, I respect your opinion, Matt Jones, and like your perspective of why you don't recommend it completely tracks. And I think there's, of our listening audience, which is vast, obviously.
Huge.
There's a lot, there's a lot of people like my dad, like, do you recommend Creepshow? No, Dad, I don't, not at all. But like, I enjoy like these little snapshot snippets of time of like, this is 1982. It's a horror movie, and it's goofy and it's silly, and it's I mean, it's in large part a completely harmless movie that may have impacted and influenced, like, do we have Tales from the Crypt? And do we have then, like, I'm a huge fan of Black Mirror. Like, do we have Black Mirror without this movie? And I know there's like several degrees of Kevin Bacon in between there, but the anthology kind of genre, like, obviously we have Twilight Zone long before this, and then
Night Gallery.
Is Outer Limits? Is that one also?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that any of that stuff was sort of trying to push the R-rated genre prior to this. Maybe I'm wrong. So, and then we get Tales from the Crypt, and then we get all sorts of banana stuff now. Like, there's a lot of anthology horror movies now. And I really like that genre, that like you'll go in, like, there's a new VHS, I think it's called VHS Outer Worlds or I want to say Outer Wilds, but that's a video game. But it's a VHS that deals 100% with extraterrestrial and space, like horror.
Oh, Beyond? Is it VHS Beyond?
Beyond. And I heard it was fantastic. So like, I like that this genre exists. And so I kind of say I appreciate that this may have helped pave the way. And then I just appreciate how silly it is. And it's a fun movie. Like, it's very harmless. And I was telling Stacy about it tonight. she could absolutely not make it through the last one. She hates bugs.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
It's so
She hates
fucking
bugs
gross.
so much. She hates bugs so much.
Good for her.
But it's just fun. It's just a fun movie. It kind of it's like pardon the comparison, but it's like the Weekend of Bernie's of horror movies.
Don't tell me we're gonna watch Weekend at Bernie's.
We should, and it should be eligible, Troy.
If it's $5,
That movie is flawless.
which is a good
masterpiece.
Good point, Matt Jones. I disagree. I love that you don't like this and don't recommend it, but I certainly do.
That's fair.
Are we going creepy next week? Are we going to try to do next week?
We should do one more creepy.
Sure.
What do you want to do?
What were you suggesting earlier?
Dawn of the Dead is on YouTube.
I don't know about doing a. I was thinking about it. Next week is Halloween, or no, it's 2 weeks. From
no,
now.
We got 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now. Yeah, I'm sorry, 2 weeks from now. We're good. We can do next week.
Yeah, because 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today is Halloween.
I don't see Dawn of the Dead. I see Day of the Dead in there.
Dawn of the Dead is on YouTube. It's not available for purchase anywhere.
What about Psycho?
Yeah.
Wasn't that on our list?
I have Psycho. We could do Psycho.
I think it would be cool to do a tonally different kind of spooky movie if possible.
Super tonally different.
Yeah, I don't know, just throwing it out there. I mean, like, I thought this was a lot of fun. I mean, Ghostbusters is probably eligible, right?
I don't own it, but it's probably it's not $5
Somebody
yet.
Get me the Ghostbusters.
I mean, I know I don't own it because it's not gone to $5. Something that I would love to talk about that is on there is In the Mouth of Madness.
Ooh, I've never seen that. Always wanted to.
Dude, it's a fucking crazy ass movie. I dig it. Sam Neill from Jurassic Park fame. Yeah, it'll trip you out a little bit. So we could do that.
John Carpenter, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I would definitely be. I mean, again, there is no too far for Jeremy on horror movies. So if it's wild and crazy, I'm all in, but like totally okay within the group of like, if you guys are like, because I've heard
the other one I was thinking of, if you wanted to watch one, is The Blob. Because I've seen that one recently, and I have to rewatch it and see
the
how
OG Blob. Wasn't that remade in the 80s?
The 80s.
That's the 80s one that Troy has.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Never seen that.
I would dig it.
There was another one that I was thinking of too. I don't remember.
I'm just looking on the OMIO list.
Yeah. And to be fair, there have been a couple of new additions because there's been some other $5, but I would totally dig The Blob. Well, even both. Or In the Mouth of Madness. We could do both.
Either one. I've not seen In the Mouth of Madness, so
we are at 2.5 hours, so I don't know if we can handle a double feature.
Well,
we have to disagree. We have to disagree less.
Have we? By the way, have we all?
That's a good point.
Have we all aligned and liked? All three of us liked and recommended a movie yet? I feel like there's been one outlier every time, which is fine. I'm not criticizing. I just think that's fun. Do we all like Butch Cassidy?
No, I didn't like Butch Cassidy.
Okay.
I don't think
Matt Jones doesn't like anything.
Matt Jones hates everything.
Yes, he does.
I think we liked Pat. I mean, everybody liked Patton, but I think somebody said they wouldn't recommend watching it. Recommend it, if I remember right.
I didn't recommend the last movie, but Pat or whatever our first movie was had like 300 some odd views, which is bizarre to me.
Texas listeners, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
and China.
All right. Well, okay. So what were we talking about? Either In the Mouth of Madness or
The
Blob.
Hellraiser Part 2.
No, I don't want to do Hell on Earth.
I'm sure those movies get worse. I've only seen the first one.
I
could not believe how crazy the first one was. I was like, really?
Yeah, it's Clive Barker, and they're like.
But do you guys remember the creature that chases her in the like weird hell hallway?
They're the Cenobites.
Goes into the portal or whatever, and there's this like crazy. It's like super practical effects. Oh,
Yeah, I was forced to watch that at a very young age, which again in 2024 seems silly, but in 1985 was horrific. And
oh yeah, totally.
you
It's
know,
not fair to hold horror movies to modern standards, I think, a lot of times.
well, especially for kids, like
Both
you know,
I mean both from effects, but like also like the envelope has been pushed. Again, Terrifier now exists. So like all out of bounds are erased at this
but
point.
you wouldn't let your 8-year-old child watch Terrifier,
No.
would you?
I don't want anyone to watch that.
Exactly.
No.
I want me to watch it and me to like kind of go, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I
no one's
watched a
behind me.
scene. I've watched a scene from Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, and I'm like, I don't want to watch any more of these movies.
Yes.
And you know what's funny, Rumja? They get accused of being mean spirited.
Oh, they are mean spirited.
And they're very mean spirited. There's no
Yes.
out of bounds. I heard there's like
But that's the point.
you know, the new one involves Santa, so you can probably imagine some things that are like we would consider out of bounds.
To not expose your children to
Children don't get killed in
Hellraiser.
it.
They are hell demons that are beating people in the
Yes.
skull with hammers and then sucking their brains out.
It's fine.
It's
Don't
also
let,
not a good movie.
Based on a true story.
don't let your kids watch it. It'll fuck them up.
I did watch Misery with my child 2 nights ago.
How did
And
she
that
feel?
movie is honestly, it's a little bit of a hard PG-13.
I
It's
ain't
not
doing
bad.
It. I
It's
ain't
not
doing
bad.
it.
Harper is really into like thrillers. Like anything
Okay.
that's like she doesn't like horror movies. She likes things that are thrillers. So
Can I recommend a movie called The Fugitive?
we've watched that. She loved it.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, she loved that. She loved The Fugitive.
Different. by the way.
One that's on our list, Rumja, that you'll appreciate is The Client.
Oh, I
Good book.
haven't seen that
Wonderful
movie.
book. Wonderful.
I don't think I've seen
Another
any of the
John
John
Grisham.
Grisham movie. I don't think I've
You've
seen.
not
Any,
seen
I've
The
never
Firm?
read any John Grisham.
You've not seen The
I've never
Pelican
seen
Brief?
The Firm. Nope.
Oh my god!
The Rainmaker.
So, dude, seriously,
I've
as
read
a
all the
lover
books.
of Law and Order, a lover of Law and Order, like The Client, The Pelican Brief, and The Firm, that's a trifecta of amazing legal thriller kind of movies. You'd like all they all hold up.
Which is the one where Samuel? Which is the one? Is it The Client where Samuel L. Jackson says, "Yes, they deserve to die"? And I hope they burn in hell?
No,
That's
Time to Kill.
A Time to Kill.
Time to Kill. Okay.
The client is Susan Sarandon, and they have a body buried underneath a boat, and it's
Brad Renfro, a young Brad Renfro, R.I.P.
The Client book is absolutely great.
Oh, it's so good.
The movie,
the
whatever.
Book's great.
The book, read it twice. It's so good.
The movie's great too. Yeah, Susan Sarandon's protecting this little kid who saw a body of a mob hit.
Yeah.
And obviously the mob wants to come in and make him go away. And so she's protecting him. And I think Tommy Lee Jones is in the movie, probably like, I don't care. You know, he probably says that with a southern accent.
From Hellraiser 2, Hell on Earth, where they're going into hell realms and like bodies are squirming underneath.
So are you saying you recommend Harper and I watch Hellraiser or The Client? I'm confused.
No, I don't. And I am pretty sure I'm on the record of saying don't expose your children to horrible fucking shit that my father exposed me to as a young child.
Dude, I mean I'm scarred for life from Gremlins and it's rated PG. So yeah.
It's a
the Spookies, you can't fuck around with the Spookies with kids.
Not when you're little. You don't have the brain.
We watched Gremlins a couple weeks ago as a family. And I was like, I cannot believe this scarred me for life. They are clearly puppets. It's not scary at all. But dude, again, like back to this movie we watched tonight. Like we didn't understand what amazing, like again, I didn't know what a head getting cut off looked like. And I still don't to this day, but now movies do it very realistically. And in the 80s, they did it in a funny way.
And the worst part about this movie is the bugs and other stuff and drowning in the ocean.
And drowning.
Everything else is funny. Like where's my cake? Oh, I love that as an adult. As a 8-year-old, I'd probably be freaked out, but it's funny now. But what's really scary? Bugs and drowning in the ocean.
Rumja, I'm sorry if I'm stealing your gimmick, but I've noticed that I've started going.
Stealing your gimmick, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So are we gonna try to do next week?
Mhm.
Is that what we're gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
I'm in.
What
Well,
if we
which
decide
one?
on what we're watching?
I'd say Dawn of the Dead, which is on YouTube, or what was our other two options?
The client
Blob or In the Mouth of Madness.
In the Mouth of
or the
Madness,
client?
or the no, I don't
No,
have the client.
yes, I'm just kidding.
In the Mouth of Madness, or what was the other one?
Blob.
The Blob.
I would vote for either the Blob or In the Mouth of Madness just because I've never seen either one. And I remember, sorry to bring it back, but I remember seeing the Blob at the video store at Marsh. Why is that rated R?
Let's do the.
I'll bet there's bodies like melting in the Blob or something.
Yes, let's do the
Like,
Blob.
Fuck
Let's
yeah.
do the Blob. All right,
That's probably more lighthearted too, I would guess, than In the Mouth of Madness. In the Mouth of Madness sounds kind of serious.
It's
I don't
not.
know if you're going to say it's lighthearted. Blob
No,
is
it
not a
sounds
lighthearted
opposite of
movie.
lighthearted. I mean, the title itself sounds like very serious.
I think the Blob is gross and like special effects heavy, which is great.
Let's do that. Then we can talk about the practical effects, which I think is really fun to talk about.
In the Mouth of Madness is more. It's a John Carpenter movie, and it's very cool. And Sam Neill, and it fucks with your brain.
Have you guys seen Lord of Illusions, John Carpenter movie?
I don't know if that's a John Carpenter movie.
It is. It's more recent, like later in the 90s. Ice Jag and I were a big fan of Lord of Illusions. It's like a magician movie, but like, whoa, is it really magic or is he like channeling hell and whatever? I don't know.
I don't think it's a John Carpenter movie, but I'll look it up. Lord of
no
Illusions.
way to know. All right, so we're watching The Blob.
The Blob. Look it up right now. I don't think it's a John Carpenter movie, but
wait, is The Blob John Carpenter or
no
Lord of Illusions?
No.
Oh, it's Clive Barker. I'm sorry. I get
all right. No,
up.
that's all good. It's all good.
There's a Red Band trailer if you want to watch it on YouTube. It's pretty edgy. It's Red Band, so buckle up.
What does that even fucking mean? I don't even know what
it's just an R-rated trailer.
I'm seeing R-rated, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Ooh, the Blob.
You know how like previews always say this is approved for all audiences. Red Band is not approved for all audiences.
Well, I own the Blob, so we'll do the Blob.
All right. And this is sorry, there's a like a 60s or 70s Blob. This is the 80s one, right?
Yep. This is the full
Blob.
So far as I know, yeah, thank you. It's very gory. Lots of disembowelment and what have you.
Heck yeah.
And I won't follow.
Directed by Chuck Russell.
That's correct.
I love all of Chuck Russell's work, including The Mask and The Scorpion King. What? And Eraser? Do you remember that? You've been erased.
I've seen it.
I remember the aquarium, right? Isn't the Eraser the one with the alligators in the aquarium, and then they shoot the aquarium, and the alligators attack the guys?
Totally.
That's what I remember.
Not to be confused with End of Days, which is also a Schwarzenegger project around that time. That's so crazy.
He directed something, at least on IMDb, Jim Carrey – Cuban Pete music video. They call me Cuban Pete. Yeah. So they must have done it. Okay. He went straight from
music video. The actual part in that movie where
it's a separate credit. It's a separate credit on IMDb. It goes,
oh my gosh,
this is hilarious. 1988, The Blob, then literally does nothing for 6 years. The Mask, and then Jim Carrey – Cuban Pete music video.
Oh, he directed The Mask?
Yeah. And then Eraser.
Wow.
And then The Scorpion King. And then nothing notable. Prior to The Blob, where he made his bones, as they say, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Which is my favorite.
Really? I've never seen that one.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Because they all have special powers. I remember.
I've seen the original, and then I've seen like New Nightmare, and then I think that's it. New Nightmare is pretty badass. I think that's where that's where they're like making a Freddy movie.
Yeah,
he like exits the movie world into the real world. It's a really cool concept.
It's like the thing that it's the meta little breaking the fourth wall thing that
Yeah.
happened just before Scream
Yeah,
came out,
totally.
and now then
And
horror
then he's
movies
like,
were
"This
always
is a great
breaking.
idea. I'm gonna make Scream and kind of do the same thing again."
Yeah.
And then I don't. Has anyone seen the new Scream
No.
where they like rebooted it with Jenna Ortega and a bunch of people?
I've heard that like the fifth one, people say is like one of the best is like almost one of the best Screams, if not better than the first one. And I don't know.
The newest one, they reference Scream in the Scream movie, and I'm like, come on, this is a bridge too far.
They don't
like,
call it Stab. I thought
they call it Stab, but they're like, remember in the
That's
Stab
the
when.
thing. But Stab is supposed to be the in-universe version of Scream, so they can make fun of themselves in their own movie.
I know, but they're referencing other Scream movies, but they're just calling it Stab. Like,
yeah, that's the idea. That's fine.
I know, but they've made like 19 of them. There's more Stab movies than there are. Anyway, all right, I'm about to pee my pants. Good game, gentlemen.
Matt Jones head shake. All right, we're gonna do the Blob, right?
Blob it up.
All right.
It's on
Peacock. I'll be prepared to watch The Client, and I will see you guys next time when we talk about
Matt Jones. You know what you got to do before we hang up. You sound great, by the way. All right.
All hail the duck.
All right. Good game. Good game, everybody.
See you guys.
And what up?
It's still recording. Why is it still recording?